Alright. We're back with Bronze to GM. A new patch has dropped. There's a new map pool, but it doesn't really change too many of the fundamentals. It changes small dynamics that have big implications for how the meta evolves at a high level of play especially, as well as giving some more options to lower level players. But really, what we need to do here in Gold Part 2 is just continue doing what we're doing in Gold Part 1, which is getting better with those add-on swaps. Remember, we refined that a lot from the start of the Gold video, where I was making it a little bit too complicated, I felt, for a Gold player. The second half of that last video, we changed the way we're doing our add-on swapping, so it's not as complicated, while still giving us a big boost to our build order. But what were we not doing while learning that? Because we want to keep doing that, but, well, not really another video doing the same thing. No. We're doing that, but what were we not doing? We were forgetting to put marine spotters out in most of our games last week. I say last week, but last episode, since it was a friggin' month ago, I guess. Let's send that SCV scout out right now, guys. There we go. Hide that behind the natural. We're playing a TVT this game, by the way. So that's really huge, okay? Is we really need to send marine spotters out, and we're also going to be swapping out the Viking for a Liberator here in Gold Part 2, which is ambitious. So we want to go reactor and orbital straight away, guys. Now I'm playing a little bit faster than normal. Let's just set up some camera locations: third base, fourth base, fifth base, and camera location. And we've got our number 2, number 3, number 2, number 3. So we can tab between those, queue that back, bring a USCV down to build a depot as well. Exact same build order we've seen a million times, but no reason to stop talking about it now. We're walled out of the base. Now we are playing Keybrit, and to be fair, I do know a little bit about how Keybrit plays StarCraft, so I am expecting him to do very cheesy stuff. He's a Gold League player who's always doing silly things, so we'll see how we go. Alright guys, we're going to start that second gas. Now, I haven't started my Marines just yet. Let's get 2 of those, and because I'm coming straight home with the SCV, which actually doesn't make sense, let's try and hide behind the base. We do want to bring an SCV down to start that bunker, just after the second gas starts, just like usual. Put 2 dudes on gas, no worries. And we'll try to build that bunker at the front. You rally back on minerals. Keep building Marines for now. Just keep the Marines on top of the ramp, same as always. And just make sure that SCV production is, of course, the #1 priority. Now remember, if our opponent doesn't expand, we will basically react, right? And how are we going to react? I believe it was just scanning, right? Anyone correct me? Anyone who's actually watched the Bronze to GM more recently? Because I did that last episode a long time ago. I'm just like, I think that's what we did. Pretty sure I just scan and react. But that's from 3:30 if we don't see an expansion, right? And we'll try to run up the ramp because there could be an expansion on the high ground. You never know. I've reviewed the build order and was watching the last episode, but I didn't see too much cheese defense in the last episode, so interesting to see. Just building SCVs right now, building more Marines. We've got that tank on the way. And there is a command center coming in. Okay, that's very good to know. We can try to scout anyway, just try to get inside the base, because it is a very late command center, guys. But we don't really see anything, so we'll just go home. Now, if the command center just starts, then you don't necessarily need to scout, but it's probably a good idea to anyway, just to check, well, why was your command center so delayed? And we can see 3 barracks and a lot of bio building up. So our build should be perfectly fine. Now, Gary's going to start building some depots, guys. And there we go. We've got a siege tank. We can put that down here with the bunker. And because both of our orbitals are done, 1, 2, 3, 4 SCVs, as well as drop a mule. Now I misclicked that mule, so we need to box it and tell it to mine minerals. Build 2 Marines and then build add-ons. But we don't need add-ons. We're just going to build a Liberator across the map for now. And we'll build 1 more depot before going back here and starting non-stop depot production, okay? Now, that Liberator is very late, guys. That was meant to start a little while ago, but we're just going to stick to the build order and sync up these add-ons anyway, I guess. So, time to build 4 barracks. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then queue them back on minerals. More SCVs, more mules, more Marines. We also want to rally all these guys down here, because if he attacks, it's going to be a massive stim push on the ground. We didn't see a factory or a starport, but having a tank, a bunker, and lots of Marines on the natural, we should be safe. Let's control-click the barracks, do that. And then we want to go reactor, reactor. And this Liberator, guys, we're going to send it across the map. And then we're going to queue it into the back of the base, okay? Now, normally I wouldn't say queue things across the map like that, But in this case, it's going to be an okay choice. Now, it looks like I never rallied out of my main to the natural. Because we've got 4 barracks building, we want Bruce to join Gary there. Build more SCVs, more mules, more marines. Double gas, and also the engineering bay come down. And that's kind of the last structures in our build, isn't it? We're going to control group that engineering bay. And we want to build one more tech lab. These guys we want to lift off, build a tech lab, lift off, build a reactor. And then what do we do with these guys? Control click or just shift click, lift them, land them. We want to start stim, start some marines and marauders. Now we can look at our liberator guys, and obviously we can move that around if we want, but looks like just a mass bio with double upgrades. Liberator gets taken out, but we see that he's very bio focused, just going lots and lots of infantry. Alright guys, let's put 2 workers on gas. Just grab 2, put on each gas. Keep building depots. Now I should be sticking to the macro cycle. I'm doing it a little bit out of order, guys. I'm putting SCVs, dropping some mules, and actually that's more SCVs than we need, right? We're already at 50, guys. Let's cancel all those SCVs. You can see my main's a little oversaturated. Let's just grab a few of those, move them down. Let's get combat shields. All right, Marauder. Lots and lots of Marines and Marauders, guys. Build a tank and build 2 medevacs, and you can see how quickly that money disappears. Add the depots, and we're back to normal macro cycles. From now, we're going to stop muling because we want to save it for scans for when we move out. We want to make sure all of our upgrades are starting, guys. So +1 weapons, started. Stim, started. Shields, started, but concussive isn't. So we'll start concussive. Mules, SCVs, except we skip that because we're maxed out. Lots of Marines and Marauders. Build another tank and build 2 more medevacs. You can see our army's growing really hard. And when Stim and Shields are both almost finished, we can move out. So we can move out right now if we wanted to. Notice our tank count sucks. Partially because remember that Liberator was very late. So we kind of slowed down on everything. Now what haven't we done, guys? Scouting. So we just dumping key, send to the watchtower, dumping key, a move there, dumping key, a move there. And oh, look at that. He's right outside my base. Good to know. Very good to know. Let's move this tank over here. Gary and Bruce haven't been building depots. So let's do some supply drops to help make up for that. Good thing I wasn't scanning. Makes up for my bad macro there. Now, if he's outside my base, we could probably fight him, but we need to make sure these upgrades are finished. So let's scan him. That's not that many units, is it? Let's stim and A-move, guys. And he's coming in from 2 sides, so we'll control click the siege tanks. So I thought he had very few units. He had a lot more than I realized. But he has 2 engineering bays since a few minutes ago, but no upgrades, which is very weird. So we can unsiege. Let's move across the map, guys. We'll move to here, our staging point. Now remember, what do you do when you move out? Marauders. So we build about 6 Marauders, about 10 Marines, a tank, 2 medevacs, 2 depots. Beautiful macro cycle. Remember, if we want, we can also start a 3rd command center, but I don't have the money for it, so there's no reason to bother. We'll just send an SCV there. All right, guys. Shift 2, come forward. Let's scan. So what do we see? He's building missile turrets. Now we can grab a Marine, dump, stim, click it up there, and then these guys can come in. And I don't know if he has any tanks, guys. If he doesn't have any tanks, I think because we beat that last army, we can just stim and A-move. And indeed we can. So he's got missile turrets everywhere. They don't really serve a function in this sort of game. Let's just stim, move up the ramp, and there's no reason to dilly-dally, guys. Obviously, I wanted to scan, but I didn't have any scan energy. Now we can scan, and we can confirm. He's got turrets everywhere, which doesn't really make sense if you're doing a 2-base bio push. So maybe he has a corner base. Let's go check the top side of the map. Got turrets behind his base as well. GG, well played. Interesting. So that was weird, for sure, but I think we just macroed better than him, and he forgot to get his upgrades by the looks of it. He did eventually get +1 weapons, but it looks like we just out-macroed him. So he did a 3 racks on 1 base before expanding, and it was actually 4 barracks on 1 base. So I think he was relying on not getting scouted maybe, but definitely just a very inefficient build from Keybrit. So something where a build like mine that's much more organized and tailored just gets you up a bit faster, whereas his build order, it's kind of a 1 base all in, but not a 1 base all in. So I think he'd be better off going for the expansion earlier than playing this 4 or 5 barracks play, and that can actually be really effective as like a way of just simplifying the focus. But I think if Keybrit did that, we'd have a much harder time because he could have had like a real big mass. But if you look at the worker count, 4.5 minutes, I'm up like 10 SCVs, and that's just going to get worse and worse until I stop building workers at about 45, 50 workers. So we just had a big economic advantage, and even though his army's bigger than mine, he can't kill a tank and a bunker setup. Liberator killed 10 workers, I believe, as well, which is massive. Got him down to 21 SCVs. So you can see from here, it's basically game over just through raw macro power. He played okay, but I definitely think his style much more suited to battle cruisers, and that's what I was expecting from Keybert in this game. I was like, battle cruisers. I thought he was going to be doing like corner bases, battle cruisers, you know, very much a Florencio style of Terran. Very weird to see him play Buyer. I don't know if I've ever seen Keybert play Buyer before. Well played, mate. All right, guys, we're playing a TVP now versus a 2700 MMR Protoss Temla. This map is Equilibrium, so they spawn top left, you spawn top right. It's one of these maps, kind of like Habitation Station was the last map we had on ladder. It was like this, where it's not mirrored, or it is mirrored, where you're not on opposite corners, basically. Weird thing about these maps is the bottom of the map ends up being ignored in a lot of games. Like, all the fighting is just on this one avenue between the two players, which some people like. I tend to try to play a lot of these when they come out, and usually by the end of the season I hate the maps like this. I think it's just because the fighting always ends up happening in the same places over and over again. I just don't like it. Anyways, let's go for that SCV scout, hide behind the natural. Alright guys, let's get the camera locations. Second, third, probably fourth down there, fifth up there, I think. Now remember guys, we can just put on gas. If you want to be super pro, we can also pull that guy to the inside so he doesn't waste. Because the quicker that worker doesn't try to mine gas, the quicker the other guys can hop inside and he can get to the correct side to mine from the right angle. Not important at all in Gold League, but just one of those little details that I instinctively want to do. So I know it's going to slip into my play. I might as well explain it every now and then. So you're wondering, what the hell is he doing? You're actually like, oh, okay, I understand why he's doing that weird thing. Now, if you wanted, you could block their Nexus here with your SCV and be really annoying. I'm not going to bother doing that, just because I know that Gold League players, it can totally ruin their entire build order just with a small disruption. So, for me, I don't want to give myself the easy path. Now, I just saw like 5 probes pull, so I guess he tried to
Command center has been upgraded.
deal with that at some point. Now, if you... Oh, he's going to fight me. Okay, guys, so we're going to bring another SCV down. If you want, you just halt construction. You start fighting him, and when you get low to about 10 hit points, you just rotate him back. We build 2 Marines, build another SCV, and that is a 1 SCV surround there. And we're going to build the depot and then go back to mining. All right, guys, let's get the factory going. Let's go. All right, let's do it. Second gas goes down. Now, we've seen a Nexus, so let's go home with this guy. Marines should not be rallied to the front, guys. We all know that is a bad idea. Let's build the barracks at the front. I guess if an adept or something comes across, it could be an issue. So you know what? I will rally to the front this time, but only because it's a Protoss player, and I know at most it's 1 adept or 1 stalker. And once I get the bunker up, I'm very safe. So just keeping my Marines down there, usually pretty good. Let's get that orbital straight away, guys. I felt like I was struggling for that in some of the previous games. And you can see dropping another mule immediately. You can drop it on the natural this early, but if you're ever worried about, oh, they might hit me with something, then you don't have to. Build that starport. I accidentally pulled an extra SCV there, guys. Make sure the starport and factory are both there on the same hotkey. Some of you put all your production hotkeys on one. That's totally fine. Marines in the bunker, no worries. Awesome. All right, so build SCVs, drop mules, build Marines, and then build depots, right? So we do want to make sure we start depots. I don't know if he's going Oracle or anything. So that means these Marines should just sit in the main base. They are on the army key though, so I can easily bring them to the front if needed. We'll start a tank, and then we want to get a Liberator as well. So we are starting to do that Liberator every game. And I guarantee you that Liberator is going to just win you games. It's kind of messed up, because below a certain skill level, players really struggle versus a single Liberator. Like sometimes it kills 10, 20 workers and it just wins the game for you. We have to start doing it at some point. And you know, it is what it is. If we want, I'm trying not to micro it or anything, but it's just crazy how powerful and game changing it can be as a unit. Let's rally this siege tank over here. And we'll just siege that on that bit of high ground. Doesn't cover the whole natural, but keeps you safe up there. All right. lift that off, as always, guys. Keep building SCVs, mules. Make sure at least 2 SCVs on each. Build Marines. And then we want to build depots. So make sure Gary's still building depots here. What do we do next, guys? Well, these two need to build reactors, and it's barracks time. So what do we want to do, guys? We're going to go build barracks, click. Build barracks, click. Build barracks, click. Build barracks, click. That's actually the way I like to do it, guys, and then shift click back rather than holding down shift first. Told you guys I was going to show the way I prefer to do it in my own games. It's totally fine for you to do whatever method works for you and whatever's easiest for you, right? Don't worry about I need to do it the way he does it. A lot of pros do things in different techniques. I just like to explain different options to everyone. Let's go double dash in the engineering bay. And another macro cycle, even though it's a little bit early. A few more SCVs, drop a mule, build a few more Marines. Let's go back to our production. So we want to go build a tech lab, lift off, build a reactor. And then as always, guys, we want to build 1 tech lab and then lift the other 2 barracks onto these 2 reactors, okay? I had a bit of a brain fart for a moment because I thought I was missing a tech lab. I was like, wait a second, did I screw this up? And remember, once your barracks are done, you want Bruce to join Gary, friends forever. And then once they finish the wall, they can go up there. All right, guys. So we want 1 tech lab, and then we want to just select these 2. Lift, click, land, click, start stim. All right. What's our worker count? It's as high as it needs to be, so we're just going to drop our last mules. Marauder, Marine, and then tanks and medevacs, okay?
Add-on complete.
Build a tank. Reactor is not done yet, but it will be in a moment. Awesome, so we just queued up a lot of units, guys, but what are we missing? Well, depots, remember? So there's Gary, where's Bruce? Bruce is still making his way up there, so we're going to send him back to mine. This will be the new Bruce. These guys are going to build depots. What about upgrades? Stim is starting, shields. Let's start concussive. Let's start +1 weapons. Okay, what else have we not done? We haven't sent marine spotters all over the map. And it's totally okay to just focus on one thing at a time. Like, my Liberator's just been sitting here, guys. I forgot to use my Liberator. That's fine. We'll just send it in now, and we'll siege up on the base, okay? Now, what are we going to do? Macro cycle. Marauder. Build lots and lots of Marines. Build a tank, build medevacs. We don't have enough money for tanks and medevacs, guys. So I'm going to look at my Liberator, but I'm tabbing over. We're going to make 2 medevacs. We need another 100 minerals. I could reposition this. I'm not going to, but I absolutely could. I've not done my macro cycle, though. This is an example of kind of multitasking. I'm looking at things and I'm absorbing information, but I'm still doing my macro cycle because I needed money to queue up the tank, money to queue up the medevacs, and I need to still build the depots at the end of that macro cycle, right? And to make sure I'm not supply blocked, I'm even going to queue up a few more depots now, just to make sure that we don't get supply blocked. Now, start another macro cycle. Marauder. Lots and lots of Marines. You can see I've only queued up 2 Marines on each of those, so we need to just keep queuing units here.
Done with the research.
And then we need to get a tank as soon as we get the money. And where are our upgrades at, guys? Looks like shields, concussive on the way. So we're actually in a really good position right now. We can grab the army, shift 2, unload the bunker, shift 2. And look at this, we've got great vision. We've got Marines out here. We can kind of send this guy down there. We can see, oh look, there's the 3rd base. So where do we want to push? Okay, let's push here. So we're going to move here. That'll be our staging point. A move. Okay, shift 2, A move. Marauder. Marine. Tank. And a medevac. And more depots. So we're still just following this same plan. We're going to try and be nice and decisive with our push when we get there. Now, if you want, you can just send that Marine in front, right? I just want to see what their army looks like, guys. Okay, so it's a Stalker Sentry Colossus army, guys. We saw sentries in there. We saw those energy bars. Very important for us to bring everything across the map. That army is a very front-on army. It's not really an army that's going to be, like, counter-attacking us because we haven't seen any zealots, right? So we're going to try and move our tanks forward, get them nice and clumped up. And when the fight happens, we're going to do something a little bit more advanced than we normally do. If you know they have splash damage, if you can control-click your Marauders, move them in front of your Marines because they will tank very well. And then you can do a little bit more spreading out, okay? We're going to keep scanning here. We're going to try and get him to fight. So we can stim, but notice I'm not A moving. Now we want to control-click our tanks, and we want to click on the Colossus, okay? And we're going to try and shift-click those. And we're going to pull these guys back. The reason is, if he came a bit further forward, I might have fought. But there's just no reason for me to attack in because he doesn't really have anything that deals with Colossus. So unless he like blinks forward or something like that, we just don't need to. So once again, control click the Marauders, move them just out in front. And now we can stim, control click the tanks, click on. And now we can A move our Marines as well, okay? because he ran forward with everything. So we want to move right up on top, kill all 3 Colossus, and we're okay. But notice the Colossus did crazy damage to the Marines. So if we ran forward earlier, we would have been screwed. Now hold down the barracks, hold down the Marine key, the Marauder key, the Tank key, and the Medevac key. And notice we just spent thousands of minerals instantly. That's not good macro, but it's totally okay. Something I've been doing last week, and I was watching the VOD, and I was like, this is really good for teaching you guys methodical play. What was it not good for? Just finish the game. I was in so many positions where I could have won the game 5 or 10 minutes earlier, guys. And why didn't I? Because I was trying to emulate being very slow and very hands-off with my micro. Just a few small advanced tips that I'm going to start adding in, like let's focus fire tanks on Colossus, because that is a game changer against this sort of army. For those who don't know, it takes 5 siege tank shots to put a Colossus to 1 hit point. The reason 1 hit point is because they've got an armor, right? So you do 69 damage a shot to the hit points, you do full 70 to the shields. So basically just imagine 70 times 5, 7 times 5, 35, 350 hit points. Maybe it has 2 hit points. It has something like 2 hit points, maybe 3 hit points remaining at the end of that because of its 1 armor. So basically, if you have 3 siege tanks, you can 2-shot a Colossus, is another way of thinking of that. If you have 5, you can pretty much 1-shot a Colossus, because if you click it once, if it takes any damage from any other source, even splash damage from another tank shot, it will go down. Now notice though the cost for doing this. The cost for me focusing a little bit harder on the army is I float more resources. But that is totally fine. There are scenarios where you can't really push in, and it's more important for me to focus more on my macro. And you'll see me do that more in TVTs where I'm being a bit slower and more methodical. But in this scenario, they have 3 bases. I need to kill them because if they have charge and Archon's about to come in, if they have 10 gateway charge lots warping in or something, we can see charge is on the way, but my opponent doesn't have it yet. If they get a massive charge lots in Colossus and engage, they're going to destroy everything that I'm doing, right? So I feel like I need to kill you pretty quickly. Number 1. Number 2, I want to focus more on my army control just to get better at that skill, and it's okay for me to miss macro a little bit. Could I have queued up a few more units before going in for the fight? Probably could have. Like, let's look at this when I could have taken a break maybe here at just before going in with these units. Like, as I'm sieging the tanks, if I just select my barracks and tapped Marauder 5 times, that spends 500 minerals, and then just held down the Marine key, another 20 Marines, awesome. I've spent 1,000 minerals, so I could have definitely done that a little bit more because I'm kind of vocalizing what I'm doing, explaining, okay, you know, we're going to move Marauders in front. I'm not macroing that well, and you guys will make that mistake as well. So that's totally cool. Just remember, a Sentry Stalker Colossus army, if you A-move into it, they can split your army with force fields. They can roast the crap out of Marines especially. So don't run out in front of your tanks. Let them come into your siege tanks. And what was Temla's big mistake this game? We've talked about it a lot throughout this series. This army, Sentry Stalker Colossus, is an army that is very bad against siege tanks. It's very good against bio, but its job is to use vision, this observer, to see me coming. And what should Temla have done? Temla should have moved into the map and intercepted me over here, force fielded my army on that ramp if they could have, or at least look to do that, force me to siege up somewhere in the middle of the map, and don't fight into the tanks while they're sieged. Just track me with an observer, and whenever I unsiege, they can come forward, kill a few units, split my army with force fields, and basically split them up. So that's what you need to do with a Sentry Stalker Colossus army against artillery, because lurkers, siege tanks, these sorts of units hard counter this army. So you need to buy time until you get charge and a whole bunch of zealots and archons, which will tank really well. The reason is, for those who are wondering, you might be wondering the actual numbers, because I know a lot of you watching this show don't necessarily know the numbers, so let me explain why. A siege tank does piss all damage to non-armored units. Look at it here, 40 damage versus 70. It's a massive difference. Only 40 damage a shot versus zealots and archons, whereas 70, almost double the damage versus stalkers and colossus. Stalkers and colossus advantage is also they're ranged. Sentry's advantage is they force field back, so only some of your enemy units can fight. Guess what? None of that works against siege tanks. Why does none of that work against siege? They have 13 range. They shoot further than your whole army. So your 9 range colossus and your force fields do nothing against the siege tanks. Same thing goes for fighting lurkers. If your opponent comes with lurkers and you're in this army, your job is to engage them far away from your base, force them to siege, pull back. They on siege, you run forward. So you're kind of just forcing skirmishes to slow them down. And that's something I did have to be wary of. If he engaged me in the middle of the map, what would I have done to counter that? I would have loaded up, I would have scanned on my army to make sure there's no observer watching me. I then would have loaded up 2 drops and I would have tried to sneak them into his main base. Something to force my opponent to move their army to respond, and then when they're responding to that, I can unsiege my army, run forward, get in this siege position. But if I'm just moving in one direction with my whole army, I can't distract him. He can always fight me when I'm unsieged and then pull back. Fight me when I'm unsieged and then pull back. And it's a nightmare getting across the map. And that's just some of the to and fro of this sort of Colossus-style army versus a Biotank army. GG's. Alright guys, we've just been ranting about balance a little bit and talking about all the different controversial things with the patch, so got myself a little bit riled up. But we're going to just play this game as we normally do. It's a TVZ. Now this is only a 2300 Zerg, guys. Obviously I've taken a big break, so I don't have as many volunteers here on Bronze to GM Day as I normally do. Remember, it's every Wednesday my time, Wednesday morning in Australia, Oceania, and Asia. And that's, of course, Tuesday evening in Europe and North America. If you guys want to play against me on these Bronze to GM days, and obviously that means we'll be doing Platinum next week. And, you know, working our way through Platinum and then Diamond and onwards. So, alright, Orbital Reactor. So we've got Hatchery first here from Saki Saw, guys. Looks pretty standard stuff. Yep, we can just go home. Why? Because we've already seen the expansion. So there's nothing else to scout there. Command center there. Remember, once you start the command center, you bring a new SCV down to build the depot, guys.
Command center has been upgraded.
Build an SCV, drop a mule. Awesome, looking good. Alright, what do we got?
Add-on complete.
2 Marines coming in. So SCV's going to go back to mine. Make sure we keep building SCVs. Alright guys, let's get the factory going.
Gotcha.
Cue this guy back to mining. Actually, second gas. What do we do after second gas? You know it. Depot. Now we can kill that Overlord, guys. No reason to let that live, but because my opponent's only 2400, 2300, whatever it was, I'm going to let it live just as a show of mercy, make the game harder for myself. These players all know exactly what build I'm doing, guys. They are, many of them, trying to hard counter me. And I'm also giving them little things to make it a bit easier if they make mistakes like that as well, but it is what it is. To be fair, I've seen Platinum League games where there's an Overlord sitting right next to their Marines for like the entire early game and they don't kill it, so I don't think it's the craziest thing for me to do. Tech Lab plus Starfort, queue back to Minerals, and that means that base will be on 16 workers in a sec, so let's just put one more there for now. I do like it to be a little oversaturated because you're obviously pulling so many workers, if you think about it, to constantly build structures in that main base. And guys, check it out, Orbital's done, so build a few SCVs for each command center as well as drop mules. Build 2 Marines. Then we want to get a depot and a tank. Whichever order you want, guys. It's time to build a tank in a moment anyway. But how about we just start the depot first, actually? Oh, no, we already queued up the tank. Never mind. Depot on the way there. So Gary's just going to be non-stop building. No worries. Let's build a Liberator, guys. We're going to just rally that down to the edge of the map. 1, 2, 3, 4 SCVs. Build a few more Marines here as well. And we will then build another depot. Cool. Alright guys, so if a tank siege is up here, it's going to block the ramp, so... Oh, hello. So we're going to bring these SCVs, jump to the main, click on the minerals. And then these units, we don't even need to micro them because it's not that many Zerglings, guys. We can click these guys back to minerals. That's where camera locations make that really easy, guys, because I went camera location 2, box workers, camera location 1, click on the minerals, camera location 2, click it back to the minerals. Really easy. It just shows you how simple it is when you use camera locations, and that's one of the big examples I give of why camera locations are so good. Let's do a macro cycle after that. Build SCVs, build mules, build Marines. We don't need tanks, guys. We want to go reactor instead, and then we want to build depots, which will go there, and then into the main base to build more depots, okay? Let's queue the Liberator, guys. We're just going to queue this to just come in and just siege like that. Actually, let's go along the edge, right into the back, and then we can just siege like that, right? Really hard for them to get to. Alright, 4 SCVs. Oh, that was way too many, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Build Marines. Build a depot. And it's time for more barracks. So we're going to pull forward, guys. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then queue those back to mining.
Add-on complete.
Control click the barracks. Shift onto the barracks hotkey. Check it out. Our Liberator's a real dickhead here, guys. He's going to be very annoying for them to deal with.
Add-on is up and
Notice how
running.
we've positioned it? He needed to position the Queen pixel perfect to hit that without getting hit in return. Build a new reactor, build a new tech lab, and time for another macro cycle. SCVs, mules, build Marines, build depot. Now, double gas, not to mention an engineering bay. There we go. I know I'm very quick at that, guys. I did that. I'm like, I know you guys aren't going to do it that fast, but it doesn't really matter. Totally fine if you don't. All right, so let's get Gary up here, or Bruce, sorry, to join Gary. We'll even queue up 2 more depots straight away. Let's get Stim started. Grab these 2, put them on the reactors, and build the tech lab. All right, guys. Put on gas. What are we shooting at? Oh, there's an Overlord flying in. Okay. And we can get +1. Okay, guys, we're at 47 SCVs, so we don't need more. We're going to drop our last mules here. And then it's going to be Marauder, lots and lots of Marines, tank or 2 even, and a couple medevacs. And look, there's an Overlord in my main. So what can we do, guys? A move, also control 2, put these guys on number 2. Just move them underneath so they can all fight, and then come back to the natural. Make sure our rally points are all set here now that we've got all of our barracks up. And we did just go Marines, Marauders, right? Build a few more of those, and keep on building depots. Now, what did we forget, guys? Extra upgrades. So we're going to select the tech labs, we either box them, or you can also just control click, combat shields, and concussive. And you'll notice concussive queues on this one. The stim's going to finish sooner. So it's smart. It automatically selects the correct thing. No more mules. Just Marauders, Marines, tank, and medevacs. Okay, we do need medevacs pretty bad. So notice I don't have the money. So we're just waiting for 100 gas right now. If you want to do another action and then come back and queue up the medevac, that's totally fine. And then build more depots. Now, what are we going to do, guys? We're going to dump a Marine, send it there. 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 So we're just sending Marines to all the different bases, so we can be sure we know what's going on. And then what do? Marauders, Marines, lots of Marines. We'll queue up another tank in a moment, and then more medevacs. Just waiting for 150 minerals for the tank. All right, let's do it, guys. All these units, boxing them, unsiege the tank, boxing shift 2, boxing shift 2. And let's move across this map. We're going to move to just past halfway first. So I don't know where his third is. It looks like it's down there. Actually, let's go this angle. I think this angle seems really nice, coming in from the bottom. So we'll move to here in this grass. And what do, guys? More Marauders. Lots more Marines. We've got a tank started. Let's build 2 medevacs. And then we want to start depots.
Upgrade complete.
Okay, looks like our opponent's playing a roach style.
Research complete.
Now what we can do is we can definitely move Marines in front to kind of see who's coming to flank me. Grab the other army. Box shift 2. Scan ahead. Okay.
We're done
So let's
with
go
the
forward. Now against roaches, you don't need to spread, guys. We can move right in. And we can stim, and we can A move. We can scan to try and see where are these roaches. I know my opponent's built them. And obviously we want to pull back to the tanks if he comes to fight here. Just going to stim some of those units to make sure no drones get away. I still don't know where my opponent's army is, so we're going to unsiege the tanks. We're going to keep moving in. Now, while you're moving forward, if there's no high-pressure micro, remember, hold down the Marine and Marauder key on your barracks and then keep going, okay? Scan again. Still don't see any fighting units. I don't know what's happening, guys. We're just going to move in. If your opponent offers no resistance, then it is what it is. I'm going to send a medevac up here. See if there's another base. I don't know what's going to pop out of these. We're moving into the base, and we're just going to try and move up there and see if we can overwhelm everything. It looks like there is a base there, but no workers on it. And it looks like we just got in maybe before the upgrades in the unit production had really kicked in. And we can kind of just move on in. Now, obviously, I've been moving medevacs into spores. If you want, guys, you could be a pro gamer, boost those back behind your bio. Select just the bio and tanks and move forward. And we can see how we go. More Marauders, more Marines, more tanks, more medevacs. Notice before I just queued up bio, because that's kind of the most important thing to do. Why is there a roach up here? What is happening? So confused right now. He was trying to make an infestation pit as well, which is very ambitious against the 2-base timing. Now notice I didn't really scan to clear creep, guys. We absolutely could have done that, but I figured because we were kind of just shoving in, there was no banelings, no splash damage, we probably didn't need to. Bad luck for Sakisaur, who did play a pretty good game, but just didn't quite have enough stuff to hang on. should be GG. No? Okay. Doing a holdout challenge. I like it. I respect it. There's a creep tumor there. Wait, it was defeated? What was the last thing that I killed? What did they even kill? Oh, he canceled the hatchery. Oh, I see. Oh, he canceled the hatchery. Okay, canceled, yeah. GG, okay. Cool, so very clean opening there. The Ling pressure, guys, remember, any sort of early game pressure is just so weak against this build because I have a full bunker and I get a tank out really early. So by default, we're just so safe with this build. So the Ling run by really didn't get much done, unfortunately. And that just put us miles and miles ahead. And you can just see that we were ahead on workers for a long time in this game. And Saki just had a lot of workers that weren't being built. So if Saki's big kind of point for improvement here is to hold that drone key down, because there was a lot of moments where, like there, Saki just built 3 drones, but they had 21 lava and 1,000 minerals. So they could have just built 21 drones. So the only problem Saki had this game is just not building workers. And then the Liberator came in right at the point where they probably were about to fix that up. And that's a huge mistake, of course. Unfortunately. !B2GM doc, as always, Rude Sloth. It's linked in the description for every YouTube video. And !B2GM doc will link that bad boy up. So this is just, I think, the pressure of playing against me, knowing you're on stream. I think Saki still probably does a lot better than this, but I also want to point out the Liberator, like I said, is just going to ruin some people. So as much as I'm enjoying the Liberator and I want to start using it, I'm going to start flying the Liberator in from the front, I think, a little bit, and just sieging it like in front of their base. Just so we're getting used to building a more expensive unit with that Liberator, but we're not really getting the damage payoff. Just so we can hopefully still encounter some hard situations. I did want to be more decisive with my pushes, but I don't want to have the army graph look like that when I push them at 8 minutes, where I'm at 7,000 army value, they're at 1,500. You know, I was at like 5 times plus army value, which is way too much. All right, guys. We got Giant Shrimp at 2,600 Terran. The build's doing well. The Liberator harass has been a little bit painful, I think, for my opponents to deal with so far. I think we're realizing that, you know, that sort of interaction can be crazy. Kind of reminds me of my first Protoss Bronze to GM, where I went Platinum Oracle. Like, I harassed with 2 Adepts into an Oracle every game in Platinum League, and it was an instant win every single game. Like, I got so far ahead off it every single time, and it was actually crazy. I was like, okay, like, I imagine this will happen some games, and it just kept happening, and I had to stop doing it because I felt bad. Because I was like, apparently sending 2 Adepts in and then sending an Oracle in 10 seconds later to the main base after the Adepts hit the natural is like unbeatable in Platinum League. So I can understand why it lives kind of hard to deal with in Gold League. Alright guys, let's send our Worker Scout over. It's a TVT, remember. Let's get those camera locations. Camera location 2, camera location 3, camera location 4, camera location 5. Harassment and aggression in general is so powerful in StarCraft. Obviously, people miss macro and struggle really hard with executing it, but in general, I think the more you interact with your opponent, once you've got your basics under your feet, the more you can develop as a player. And you really want to court aggression, because the more interactions, the more comfortable you become with interacting with your opponent, the less afraid you are of it. I've definitely noticed players over the years who are just afraid to interact, and they always steer away from it, and they're afraid of it, and as a result, it definitely leads to some issues. Now, there's no barracks at home, guys, so what are we going to do? Go on the high ground, build the command center, and we'll scout around for the proxies, and then go back over here to look for the command center, okay? I'm going to build a bunker on that high ground. Bring another one down to build the depot here. Got to wall off so we can actually keep building units. So we're clearly being proxied, guys, because we didn't see anything out there.
Command center
We're just going to kill that SCV. Building the reactor here is kind of dangerous. You could just build Marines one at a time. It'd be much safer. But we'll see how we go.
Add-on is up and running.
Alright, we're going to build 2 Marines. Have you seen the Euthermal video on the Cyclones? No, link it to me after this game. We can take a look at it on stream quickly, and if you have any thoughts. Okay, I'm gonna put these guys up here. Build a factory. Remember, guys, it's a completely normal build. Just put the Marines there. And, alright, we're just gonna go around the map. And check for that expand.
We're hitting our SCVs.
And we see, okay, Reapers. So it's a proxy Reaper build. Keep building Marines, guys. What are we going to do? We're going to box a bunch of workers and put them on my secondary army key, okay? And these Marines on the other key. So we're going to A-move them together. A-move 3, A-move 2. A-move 3, A-move 2. Now, I can't react that fast, Big. That's bullshit. No worries. You can't react that fast, then don't. Pull the SCVs beforehand. Right? And just wait on the ledge. Okay. So these guys are going to go there. We're going to wait on the ledge right now, guys. We're going to make that tech lab, that starport. Build some more SCVs. Now we're going to stay on the ledge. I'm just going to leave one Marine in the bunker for now. He's going to start killing the depot. I don't care. We're just going to start building another depot. And if he stays there, no worries. Okay, we can come over and kill him, okay? We've got enough Marines. We're just going to A-move and then pull back. All right. Grab an SCV. Right-click the depot. Right-click back to mining. Keep building SCVs and dropping mules, okay? Then build Marines. Then build a tank. What is this? This is our first macro cycle. We're just doing the macro cycle on one base right now. We're trying to wait for tank money right now, guys. Wait for tank money. Alright. Alright. What do we normally build? A Liberator, right, guys? Alright, we'll build the Liberator again. A few more SCVs. Drop a mule. Keep building SCVs, Gary. Alright, we look like we're pretty solid now. Once this tank comes out, I think we can secure the natural, okay? Especially if that... Now, I want to leave a few Marines there. I was going to leave more, but now that he's thrown those Reapers away, I think we can move to the low ground. Siege tank down there. We can move this command center. If you need to cancel an SCV to lift it, don't worry about it. Like, especially if one's just started, you just cancel. And then we can basically grab the SCV, shift-click. We grab a bunch of these guys and click on the minerals. That was probably a few more than I needed. We can send a couple back. No worries. Alright, guys, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, if our build gets messed up, we don't have to swap add-ons. Totally fine if we don't. You know what? I think we can actually build these add-ons here. We're also going to send that Liberator across the map. As we do, just shift-click it to come in from the edge, and we can just... Actually, we're not going to be as fancy with it. We'll just siege it from the front this time. So it's a little bit easier. Build SCVs and build mules, because remember, when you've been doing other things, build depots, build Marines, sorry. We need to build depots as well. Where's Gary? I guess Gary's on Smoker, okay. Now that we've built all those 4 barracks, guys, what's next? Double gas and engineering bay. Another macro cycle. Lots of SCVs, few Marines, and we want to make sure Gary and Bruce start building depots. Now we can take a look. We can see my opponent has a few cyclones, a few barracks upgrading. They have a command center. So they've got 3 command centers. They're trying to do a macro transition behind this while making some cyclones. Alright guys, we're going to build 2 tech labs. And then remember, we want you to build a reactor, you to build a tech lab. And then these guys are just going to go there and there. Now, normally one of those barracks would be on that tech lab over there, but because we misplaced them, it is what it is, okay? So what are we going to do, guys? We're going to go stim and shields and concussive. Marauder, lots of Marines. Try and build tanks and medevacs, but the add-ons aren't done yet. And it's +1 weapons. Now, more SCVs, guys. Those will be the last ones we need. Put workers on each gas. Got mules as well. I forgot to do that. I don't like people perving on me, so we're just going to attack that with the Marines and then shift A move back to the front. And we're going to set all of our rally points down here. Lots of Marines, lots of Marauders. We're going to start building tanks in a second. Shift 2, A move to the front, build a tank, and then we'll build 2 medevacs in a moment as well. So remember, guys, what was our reaction? If you don't see their buildings in their base, no barracks, always just defend on the high ground. And preferably you should go straight for a bunker in Marine production. But if you want to just follow the exact same build order as normal, you can almost always get away with it until you get to about Diamond League, when building a reactor first and a command center before a bunker or any fighting units, it might get you in trouble. To be fair, though, you see it happen in pro play sometimes as well. So we're building more depots right now, more Marauders, more Marines, and another siege tank. That, guys, oh my god. Okay, so let's bring our army up here. Let's build a turret in each base. That's a Banshee. Okay. We don't have stim yet, unfortunately, guys. If we did, like, he's killing the SCV, building the turret, so we'll grab a few more. And we're just going to scan to get rid of him. Now we want to also tab to our starport and build 2 Vikings, okay? Once that turret's up, we should be okay there,
We're done with the
but
research.
we don't know for sure. We're going to do some supply drops. We'll also build a turret over here to guard our production as well, okay? But these guys are just going to be building more depots, and because our depot production got interrupted, that's why we're quite supply blocked right now. So more Marauders, more Marines, more tanks. Just waiting for 150 minerals for that tank, guys. Very common for this to happen, where you're just waiting for units when you're macroing well. Waiting for money. It looks like he came in and killed an SCV there. Gonna pull those SCVs away. So he's being what we would call a dickhead. So we're gonna go over there with this Viking, guys. And the Vikings, gonna take him out. And you know what? We've already got a few medevacs. We might as well just swap to tank Viking production. Why? Because it's a TBT. So what are we going to do? First of all, dump the Marine, A move, dump the Marine, A move, dump the Marine, A move, dump the Marine, A move. Gonna get some map vision. Next, we're going to build a bunch of SCVs, guys. We're going to build a few depots. We're going to rally back to our main because we lost a bunch of workers. Our opponent's being a dickhead. Drop a mule. We're also going to grab an idle worker and get ready to build a 3rd base if we need to. Okay, now we've got a bit of map vision, we can move forward, okay? So we're going to move forward towards what I assume is a 3rd base there. So we're going to move to the middle of the map, A move. We found a command center in the corner with those Marines that we sent everywhere, so that's very good. He was trying to be a sneaky boy. Bring these Vikings to the front as well. We'll just right-click them on a tank right now, so I don't have to micro extra units. Marauders, Marines, and we'll try and build tanks and Vikings in a moment, okay? Now, right now, we're very blind, so let's grab a Marine. Stim, move there, as well as dumping key. Stim, dumping key, move there. And now we're A-moving main army, A-moving secondary army, okay? We're going to stim and A-move, and we're going to control-click the tanks. I accidentally only sieged 1 before. Now we're sieging the rest of them. We could have scanned ahead as well, and we're going to push right in. Let's get rid of the siege tanks, unsiege those. We're going to stim and click on that siege tank as well, just boxing the units there, guys. And remember, if you get on top of the ramp, that's where the Terran production is. That'll win you the game. So no reason to dilly-dally killing expansions. If you kill them that decisively with that first big fight there, then you'll be good. And part of why I was confident is because we blocked a Proxy Reaper build without taking damage. So I knew I was ahead, right? The Banshees did some decent damage in the follow-up. But if we just go to, say, 4 minutes after that early game, look at the numbers, guys. We're up 4 workers, which might not seem that big. But look, that becomes 6 workers. We've got tanks and Marines out. Opponent's just now getting their factory on a thing. Here's a 3rd command center on the way, but we're up 6 workers very early. Our income is going to be miles and miles ahead of our opponent. Our infrastructure is so far ahead. We've got 5 barracks. What's he got? 2 barracks just building add-ons now, and a factory and a starport. So we've mined so much more money. We've been dropping mules much earlier. Go to 6 minutes, we're up 10 SCVs. And that's obviously mining more, building more units. So I already felt like I was in a good position off the opening, and then I even scanned and kind of saw what was going on. My Liberator saw a 3rd command center. I scanned and saw the natural, so I knew it was 3 command centers, and I'd seen his army with my Marine spotters as well, right? So even though the Banshee was very annoying, didn't really do that crazy damage or anything like that. Just delayed my production a little bit by stopping those depots. Just sent our army up to defend. Kills what, 7 or 8 SCVs maybe? 6 there, and comes back and gets 2 or 3 more a bit later. This is one of your builds that I tried? Normally I would proxy the Banshee, but yeah, a T-Rex proxy Reaper into Banshees and then Cyclones for map control and stuff is actually a very cute, very fun build. I find it never works at my level anymore. The Terrans are too solid. Even if I get pretty good value, like I need to get crazy good value with the Reapers and the Cyclones. Or Reapers and the Banshees, I mean. So yeah, it was like some okay damage, but remember I saw the army here. I'm still even on workers. Look at the supply difference. You can just see that building up in this direction is great. And I'd already spotted his army looking smaller than mine. And you might be wondering, well, how did you know that? When my Marine ran up there, I saw this blob of units. It just didn't look as good as mine. And I know those Cyclones aren't very scary now that I've got Stim, combat shields, that sort of stuff. Cyclones aren't a very valuable unit in this scenario. And we just felt my blob's bigger than your blob. You're not sieged up or anything. And we're able to aim move forward. Cool. As you see, he was trying to do a lot of fancy things. Command center off in the corner for a 4th base and a 3rd command center. As a result, was forgetting to take gases and things like that. So Giant Shrimp was trying to juggle so many different tasks and did float a lot of minerals as a result, but was just basically doing 1,000 things at once. GG's. No harm in getting on. Usually we do not have a big line of players for Bronze to GM because we are only taking people in a very narrow range of MMR. It's pretty much always looking for more people. Anyone else ask that? Please help me out, regulars in the chat, and help us out. I also want you all to ask more questions. People are just kind of sitting there and watching, and I know I explain some stuff, but there's gotta be stuff I'm not explaining. There's gotta be questions you all have that aren't being answered. So fucking shout them out. This is a collaborative effort. I can't teach StarCraft if people don't ask me questions about what's going on. And especially after the games, at the end of the games, I notice that when I'm playing, that's when like 50 questions pop up when I'm in the middle of playing. And obviously I'm fully focused on just talking about the game while I'm playing. But then I scroll back up and I try to catch questions, and anything, you know, if it's too far up, don't you know, just repost it, totally fine, and go for it. All right, guys, we're playing against Bad Macro, a Zerg player in this one. How many camera locations do you use? I use 5 bases plus a rally point, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rally point. Yeah. Which is just on top of the ramp for this early game stage. Actually, put one more guy on gas there. No worries, we'll fix that up. So just 6. And get rid of that next XCV. You go there. You don't need to do that queued up patrol path, guys, just to have it. I like doing it. It's pretty. Make sure the SCV is fully accelerating and right on top of where it wants to build so it can do that straight away. Now, we already see a hatchery, guys, so that SCV can just go straight home and we can get that command center started right up. All right. I can't figure out how to fast load Marines into my medevacs. You select everything and you just right click on the medevac. That's it. It's actually really easy. Hop in the unit tester or hop in a game and build a bunch of Marines and medevacs and run drills. You'll actually figure it out very quickly. But we can go over that after this game if you guys want. Just shout out at the end of this game. As I said, big explosion of comments and questions at the start of games. Really hard for me to answer when I'm commentating, guys. Please repost these 5-10 minutes from now when we finish this game, and I would love to go over everything with you all. And that's the whole point of this show. It's to help out people in the StarCraft community. So don't ever feel like you're asking a dumb question, even if I do sound a little bit, you know, like I'm kind of laughing at it. It's just funny because I forget that people, you know, they haven't played the game for 13 years. They haven't spent so much time as me figuring out all the details. So if I laugh, it's all in good fun, you know. There's a joy of not knowing things, and don't ever feel embarrassed about that. Like, oh, I should know that. That's a dumb question. I'm such an idiot. It's like, come on, man. Let us enjoy kind of having a bit of a giggle at the lack of knowledge of lower level players. We don't mean it in any ill will or anything like that. We're just like, oh shit, people don't know how to do that? Oh yeah. I didn't know how to do that once as well. Anyways, Marines building. We're going to start a siege tank. And guess what, guys? That siege tank feels like it's starting a bit earlier than in some of the other games. I guess I've just been talking a lot, so I've probably been macroing a bit faster than I normally do. Gary's going to start building SCVs. Time for our first macro cycle, guys. 4 SCVs, drop a mule, build a couple of marinas. They're just called Marines, guys, but you know, fun words are fun. Now you could build a Viking because it's a Zerg, but we're still just going to build the Liberator. Just keep it real simple. And once again, we're going to fly in from the front of the hatchery because I don't want to be doing so much damage that my opponents are just dead before the game even starts. Now, I feel like a tank on the high ground doesn't protect that well here, so I'm going to put it there. If someone runs in with Ravages and biles it, I will regret this decision. Anyways, macro cycle, SCVs and mules, build Marines, lift the factory off there. And I guess queue up the depot at the end of the macro cycle. I kind of forgot there, didn't I? Lazy. That did not. It looked like it was bugging out when I told it to siege for a second. Maybe that's why it didn't siege the first time. On this map, by the way, that pillar is not safe. As you can see, if you just put a Marine on the edge, I'm pretty sure you can see it. Alright guys, we build 2 reactors, 1 more macro cycle, a few more SCVs, build Marines, build a depot. Now it's barracks time. So if you want, you can try to manually select 4 SCVs. But like I said, that takes a lot of experience. A lot of you won't be able to do it, and that's totally fine. Don't feel bad about that. And then shift right click them back. The Liberator, we're just going to siege in the base, guys. Doop-de-doop. Go home. Control click barracks, shift barracks key. Macro cycle. Build SCVs, drop mules, build marines, and build depots. And now that we've got the extra production, we can also queue up extra depots and then go up there. Now what do we see in the main, guys? Looks like it is a Baneling style from Bad Macro, no worries. Starport's going to lift off, build a reactor. Factory's going to lift off and build a tech lab. Going to build 2 gases. Going to build an engineering bay. That's all of our structures. Time for another macro cycle. 4 SCVs, mules. Stim. Gotta move these barracks onto their correct structures first. Okay, now we can build marauders, marines. Tanks and medevacs can't quite start yet. That's okay. We're going to queue up 2 more depots in here with Gary and Bruce. I know that was a little bit complicated. I did a shift box to grab Bruce because he's not there yet. You don't need to do that, but just figured I'd do it. And +1 weapons. We're at 47 SCVs, guys. So next macro cycle, no SCVs, just our last mules. Build marauders, marines, a tank. Rally all to the low ground now. Build a couple medevacs. And what else is next, guys? We've started stim, but we haven't started shields. Start that. And concussive, we need 50 gas for. I'm always glancing at the top of my money as I'm producing, you guys will notice. Glancing at the money, glancing at the supply. And no more mules. Let's just go marauders, marauder. Lots and lots of marines. You can see these reacted barracks. Remember, they're building 2 at a time, so you really want to have 4 of these little pips filled up on those to actually be non-stop building marines. And then we build a tank. One just popped out, so that's good. Basically, we're starting one. We're not going to start a medevac. Why? Because I haven't started depots yet. We've already got a few medevacs out. Remember, medevacs are the lower priority. They're not as important as those other units. So now I can go back and queue up a few medevacs. And let's box this army, guys. Let's unload the bunker. Oh, these guys are standing out there. Cool. Let's send some marine scouts out. Let's not use the dumping method. Let's use the deselecting method this time. It's up to you which method you prefer, guys. I'm just showing both methods, so you kind of do whichever one you're comfortable with. Bring back more marauders, more marines, tank, medevacs, depots. Like, I forgot something. Gotta be the depots. Need 100 minerals. Alright, what do we see out there, guys? So our marines are just kind of poking forward. Looks like there's pretty good creep spread. Let's try and run that guy there, run this guy in here, try and see which sides did my opponent expand to. We can run this marine back. That's Lingbane Hydra, and already on 3 bases with a lot of Lingbane. Wow. Alright, guys, we better get a move on. Stim's done, shields is done, concussive is almost done. Let's go. Unsiege the tanks, box 2. We gotta move forward. We're gonna move towards that 3rd base. We're gonna move across this bridge here, and then we're gonna move forward and start sieging in this area, okay? We're gonna rally outside our base here. We've got a few marines out on the map that are gonna hopefully spot any run-bys. So lots of marauders, lots of marines. These guys all gonna shift 2. Build another tank, and build another medevac. Okay, let's go forward, guys. We're going to scan ahead of our army. We're going to start sieging just on the edge of creep, okay? This player has a much bigger army than any other game we've played so far. We're going to siege these tanks. We're going to start spreading our units a little bit. Just box, click, or box A move to spread those units out. Grab the whole army, press stim. Don't do any other micro, guys. And just produce while you're watching the fight. More marines, more marauders, more marines, more marauders. Looks good. Go home. Box army, shift 2, A move to the front. Start +1 armor. Start 2 more depots. Lots more marines. Build another tank. Definitely want to bring all these tanks, so shift 2, A move. Alright, let's start moving these tanks forward, guys. Move some marine marauder up there. We can move this tank forward there. Let's scan. We can scan that side as well. Try and get rid of this creep spread. You can see these guys. We can get rid of that creep tumor. Kill this. There's more creep up there, so let's get rid of that. Okay. Awesome. So what we can do is we can try to get tanks here, and they'll reach forward from that spot, okay? So we're going to try and move forward with that tank and this tank. While we're waiting, more marauders, more marines. Build a siege tank. Let's scan. Where's his army? So his army's all up there. Let's try and move these guys forward now. And we're just kind of boxing, A moving. Boxing, A moving, okay? We're going to keep scanning. And we can try to just bait him in here. Pull back a little bit. Select whole army, press stim. Scan on both sides. Make sure we can see everything and where it's coming from. I haven't built units in a while, guys, so let's hold down the marine key, build another tank, build some more medevacs, okay? Box, A move, shift 2. Move a medevac forward. Let's try and move this tank forward on that ramp. We can start trying to push some bio up in range of the hatchery to actually kill that, hopefully. And you can see here, it's like, okay, cool. So these guys are now going to try and force him to fight me, and we can just micro this on its own, right? Nothing's happening. We can select our barracks, build some marauders and marines, but look, he's coming for us, so we want to run away. You're just trying to bait him into your tank fire here, but looks like our tanks weren't covering that quite well enough. So I'm going to take these 2 tanks, or 3. We're going to start moving them all up there, and we're going to move a big pack of bio in front of it. We're really going to start looking to try and punish our opponent. There we go. We just stimmed those couple of units at the front. It doesn't seem like a full engagement. It just seems like some of his units are kind of getting baited into fighting without him even looking at it. We're going to stim forward. These are marauders, so we don't really need to spread them out too much. And now we can stim and A move, and we can try to scan over there as well. So I just selected my whole army, guys. These guys as well. And now we can push forward because we just killed all of his stuff. It's a little dangerous to push in like this, but if you feel like you've killed their whole army, it's not a bad idea to just shove. Could have kept being slow and methodical, but that worked out okay. I'm going to admit I used F2 there, guys. I shouldn't have, because we're meant to have a ban on using F2 until we become a higher level player with good control group fundamentals, but I did do it then, which is why that big clump of units from my rally came forward. So I'll admit that. Now, obviously, guys, as we did a little bit more in Silver League, and I haven't been doing as much lately, it's totally fine. If you are slowing down with your push, you prefer to play slower, you can always do a transition, right? You can always go take a third, take a fourth, just like that. Jump to the natural with the camera location, box the workers, jump to the fourth, build a base, jump to the third, build a base. And then what else can we do, guys? We can also go second engineering bay armory. Right? Super easy there. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. We build tanks and medevacs, like... And that's just going to give you some nice continuation, where you go to your third, you hotkey it, send to the camera location, add to the hotkey, send to the camera location. Then you can just do stuff like, okay, grab all but like 1 worker, send to third base, and take 2 gases. Okay, I want to build more workers. I want to go to 60 workers. Okay, rally to the 4th and build some more workers, you know? Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. The power of just having a little bit of a macro follow-up there. GG's. Pig and ZVT, how do you defend against a Doom drop? Yeah, they drop in my base with 3 tanks and a lot of marines. Just group up your army and then attack into it once you're clumped up. If you have good overlord and creep spread, you'll see it coming a mile away, so you should be able to be there even before it unloads. But generally that means they're inside your base, especially if you have creep spread in your main, which is something that advanced players do all the time. You'll find it really easy to defend, assuming you have the right numbers. You're probably just outnumbered, or you just A-moved into it from the other side of the map and your units went in a few times, few units at a time. You just need to clump up first. Alright guys, girls, ladies, gents, zealots, zergans, and marines. We've got ourselves a TVP here verse 7. I think it's only about 24 or 2500 MMR. But let's see what we can do, shall we? Alright, let's send this SCV across the map, shall we? Hide behind the natural. This map is Radhusat Station. It is one of the craziest maps. It basically is King Sejong Station. And I have a lot of good memories on King Sejong Station. Probably because I was a very active pro gamer at the time. It's just friggin' awesome map. So it's crazy. It's very different. And I love that we've got a bigger map pool now. So we're taking some more risks with the map pool. But it will take some getting used to for everyone out there. I'd say it's probably pretty Terran favored just because drops are very good on this map. And there are some amazing siege tank positions, but we'll see how it goes. So we're just going to attack the probe. I noticed I haven't been attacking the probe scout that much, guys, or SCV scout, unless it bothers me. I guess it's a probe though, right? So if a probe scouts, yeah, you definitely really want to do that. So was this a Brood War map? No, I was never a Brood War player, guys.
Command center has been upgraded.
2016 World Championship was played on this map. Dark vs. Beyond. One of the greatest games of all time. And they're still top of the world today, 7 years later. Shows the legacy of those guys. All right, so I don't know why there's no Nexus yet, guys. We're just gonna run around and keep scouting to see what's going on. Let's build the factory. We can rally the Marines onto that probe. You go there. Build the second gas, and we can send a guy down to build that bunker next. Build an SCV, build 2 Marines. So I haven't seen a Nexus, which is definitely worrying, guys. So let's get that bunker started. And let's go scout those tech structures to see what the hell is going on in that base. Because he's chasing me and building a whole bunch of buildings on one base. Looks like 3 gateways on one base. So we're going to come around, and this should hopefully scout the natural close to 330. But we can assume at this point that there is no expansion. Okay, guys? So what we're going to do is we're going to send 1 Marine just to scout around our base for nearby proxies, okay? Other than that, build the tech lab, same as always. Getting that tank out and non-stop Marine production is going to take priority. Why is that taking priority? Well, if you're being cheesed, guys, and we're going to try and defend at the bunker, but we're very mentally ready to just pull back to the high ground if that's the right call, okay?
Command center has
We're
been
going to build
upgraded.
this, build some
Add-on is up
mules,
and
build more
running.
Marines, and actually it's more important than anything to get a tank right now. So I cancelled an SCV to start the tank. You guys need to cut SCV production entirely to just keep up Marines and tanks. Totally fine. The starport also is not that high priority here, right? I'm starting it now, and now we're going back into some SCVs, but wait a second. Even that's not as important as building depots, right? Let's get Bruce on as well, just because we're going to be supply blocked otherwise. Now we can build some SCVs. I don't see anything near my side of the map now. I could be getting hit by Dark Templar, so we're not going to drop any more scans after this one. We're just going to see, is there an expansion? And it looks like there is. My opponent's just doing a very Gold League build order. No worries. I say Gold League. I don't know. Gold League build orders are normally a bit cleaner than this. So guys, what are we going to do? Build a reactor, build a liberator. I guess actually we want to build those at the same time, so just go like that. Let's get our macro cycles going. Build 2 SCVs, build 2 Marines, and then build a depot. Right now we're getting way too distracted, overthinking things. Time to build some barracks, guys. Let's turn those minerals, and let's go barracks, 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 barracks. I don't quite have enough minerals. Queue back to mining. Control click the barracks, shift barracks key, and we can get the 2 reactors in a moment. For now, mule, SCV, build Marines, build 2 more SCVs, build a depot. That'll also stop Dark Templar getting in unless they drop it, which is nice. We'll queue Gary up into the main. Let's get these reactors going. And what are we going to do, guys? We're going to send the Liberator across the map. We're going to go in behind the main. We're going to just siege like that. So not too sneaky with it, but also not the worst possible angle. Let's build a few more mules and SCVs. Build some more Marines. Gary is stuck on the outside of my wall. That's why you want to leave your wall down. Build another one with Bruce. Let's go double gas. Get an engineering bay. So my opponent's done a very bad build because they went 3 gate before expand, guys. And that's going to make their economy really bad. Build SCVs, drop mules.
Add-on is up
And let's get these going. Let's get a tech lab. Build a reactor on this starport. Build a tech lab. Cancel any Marines producing on those. Land. And now we can start doing proper macro cycles, okay? So last few SCVs we build. Build Marauders, Marines, a tank, and medevacs. But we don't have the add-ons ready, so we can't build the tanks and the medevacs just yet. Let's control click these tech labs, guys. Go stim, shields, concussive. Get +1 weapons.
up and running.
I don't know what we saw there, guys. Looks like we sieged on top of a cannon like a genius. There's a robo base. We know it's a Colossus play. And we're just going to keep building. No SCVs and mules anymore. More Marauders. Lots more Marines. We can box these guys, move them down there. And then we can get tanks as well. And medevacs. We're just going to build a tank. And we're going to go into depots straight away, skipping the medevacs, just to get these depots started, because we should not have any gaps in those. And then out of order. Oh, that's meant to be a reactor, guys. So we're going to be very late on medevacs, because it's not on a reactor right now. That sucks. Shit. Why is Pig narrating? Everyone in chat's already Grandmaster. Good point, Twitch chat. Good point. All right, so let's send some scouts out, guys. Let's do the deselecting again. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Checking corners as well, just because why not? Let's also scan here at the front, guys, because normally that's where an observer's sitting. Speak of the devil. Wow, that was next level timing. Build some depots, more marauders, more marines, and a tank.
Add-on is up and running.
And then, of course, medevacs in a moment as well, as we finally got our first 2 medevacs starting at 7:30. All right, guys, we've got 2 medevacs there. We've got stim and shields almost done, so we're going to be pushing without medevacs, which is kind of dangerous. But it is what it is. Box all these units, move across to the staging point. We've got marines scouting ahead, so we should be good. And we might even be able to move across the map as well.
Research complete.
Oh, there's no third base. Yeah, we got this, guys. Okay, we'll just put the marine there, put the marine there. So we're going to move forward and like siege all of our tanks here. So we'll move to here. More marauders, more marines. Build another tank. 2 more medevacs. We probably could have dropped a few more mules. I think I'm saving a few more scans than is really necessary, right? Where you can see I'm a little bit mineral starved with these builds. Where I'm like, maybe I could drop mules to like 7 minutes 30 or something like that. Like just before I move out. Because you've got double orbital. You should be okay. Let's scan. He's got a big zealot army and he's got double upgrades. So we're going to move to here. We're also going to set my rally point across the map. Why? Because I really feel I need more units here, guys. So we're going to just put these units here. Put these units here. Build a tank, build 2 medevacs, build lots of marines and marauders. And we're just going to rally everything across the map. You know what? I'm not going to do that, actually. That's a bad idea. That is basically welcoming chaos into your home. It's not a good idea, guys. Build more depots, more marines, marauders, more tanks.
Mineral field depleted.
I thought he'd come to me, but because he's got a lot of zealots, he's not going to. So we're going to have to move a bit further forward, guys. So we're going to scan again. Let's move these tanks right up onto this ramp. Everything else, against Mass Zealot, we want to be in front of the siege tanks, remember, guys. So we're going to just basically stim, attack, move. And we could stutter step if there was a lot of zealots on top of us, but notice there's really not many zealots because they all got stuck behind each other there. His army positioning was very bad. Now there is a Colossus, so if I move down to the left, that's going to lure that Colossus forward. I can then stim again. And you can see the Colossus walked into tank fire without me having to do anything. That's a nice, easy victory. Just off of the early macro again. 7 there just unfortunately had a really bad build order. And this is what you'll find really until you get to Diamond League, is most of your opponents have really bad openings. Where because they're my opponents investing to so much production and tech on one base, whereas I'm taking a fast expand, even with me cutting a few SCVs because I wasn't sure what was happening and I thought I might get all in, and I was like, okay, prioritize marine and tank production for a little bit. At a certain time, I was like, well, I scanned, there is an expansion, their units were sitting at home, their army, and we're just kind of chilling. It's so easy, you know? So you can just benchmark at 6 minutes, even before the Liberator came in, which, by the way, did die to a cannon. I'm up 10 workers. Protoss should be up 10 workers on Protoss, rather than this way. You know, it's game over. There's nothing a Protoss player can do in this scenario, unless they have really good storms or really good disruptor shots and that sort of stuff. Is it worth making extra barracks on that add-on that you accidentally made? If you want, but with 5 barracks, you can usually spend your money pretty well. So I wouldn't really bother overcomplicating things, Chicken Hawk. All right, guys, girls, ladies, gents, Celtics, Marines, you got yourself another TVT versus Deltas. Lots of Terrans. Lots of TVT, everyone's favorite matchup. I know you all love TVT. People never get angry about TVT. If you want to attack the SCV, you can, but if it's not a probe, it can't really do that much. Oh, that's too tempting to resist, right? I should have surrounded it before attacking it, but that's all right. You just sit in the mineral line. Come on, man. I feel a little bad for doing it versus a gold play, but at the same time, I'm like, mate, if you come and stand in my mineral line, when Hero does that to me, I always try to kill it. I always try to kill it, 100%.
What's going on?
Now, he's walled me off to stop me scouting, guys. If that SCV attacks me, which he does, we're going to mineral walk to get out of this round. And what we're going to do is we're just going to run to the top right. We're going to zigzag around, and we're going to try to come back to scout and see if our opponent's expanded or not. We build an SCV and a mule. We build a depot, and then go back to mining here. If you want, you could double up on the close patch as well. Pro gamer shit, what can I say? He's still following me! Well, if he builds a Reaper or anything, he can just hunt this SCV down. That's fine. Means we might have to use a scan to scout if our opponent's expanded or not, okay? We're going to build a factory. Second gas. Ooh, we should be building SCVs as priority. Having SCV gaps in SCV production is not good. Now, he could easily stop me from scouting, but that's okay, guys. Don't get distracted by this. If you don't have the APM to monitor this sort of stuff, it's really not important.
SCVs are
Keep
under
building
fire.
Marines. And we don't see a command center. No worries. Build our bunker. Rally to there. You rally to there. Make sure that rally point's set. Put the workers on gas. More important to just keep hitting your build. Like I said, I can always just scan when this natural orbital finishes and go, have you expanded? And as it is, I don't have the 330 scout, so I'm probably going to do that, guys. I'm probably going to do a scan about here where I can see the edge of if there's a command center, but there's also a decent chance I'll see what's inside that main base. Keep building SCVs and mules right now. We're going to try and add the starport to the hotkey, build a tech lab. That starport SCV goes back to mining. So we're going to grab some of these Marines, chuck them in there.
Command center has been
Let's
upgraded.
go for that scan, guys. It's 3 minutes 30, so we just scan like there, and we see, okay, my opponent is expanding, but also they don't have an add-on on their barracks, which is incredibly
complete.
suspicious. So I'm going to take a couple of Marines, guys. We're going to go A move down the left side of the map with one, A move down the right side, dump both of those. Keep building SCVs right now. Build 2 Marines. We're going to start building depots just around the edges of my base. It's TVT. We don't need a wall off in TVT because all Terran units are basically ranged. I'll build one up there as well, just for a little bit of vision. And we can rally down to our natural expand. Alright, guys, we're going to build that Liberator still. Just sticking to the build, even though I'm very aware it's a late expansion and stuff. So we're going to do another scan to go, what the hell is going on in this base? There's no orbital. They don't have add-ons on any of their buildings. I mean, it just seems like a really trash build order. So we're just going to siege the tank of the natural. No offense to my opponent. Most players on the ladder aren't playing great build orders. It's just is the way it is. More SCVs and mules and more Marines. We've got a tank siege there. Cool. Our Marines have scouted. They have seen no corner bases. I'm just going to put the Marines on each watchtower, guys, just to give me a little bit of extra vision. And since we didn't see any add-ons or anything, I just don't think there's that much my opponent could be doing to ruin my day. Maybe a battlecruiser comes in. Maybe some crazy shit happens. I don't know, guys. SCVs, mules, build Marines, make 2 reactors. Let's go for the 4 barracks now, guys. Like I said, I like to grab 4 SCVs manually and pull them off. Totally okay if you don't do such an advanced technique, though. Wait. Where's that 4th barracks? Didn't have enough money for all of them, apparently. There we go. Cue them back to mining. Control-click, Shift 5, and another macro cycle. More SCVs, drop mules. Make sure you got at least 2 SCVs queued on each. Build some Marines. And where the hell are my depots at? Oh, we didn't get Gary and Bruce going. So Gary and Bruce are going to start up. Liberator's going to go across and just siege up on the main base front on. We're not being sneaky with our Liberators at all,
Add-on
guys.
is up and running.
And we're going to go build a reactor with the starport. And, oh, we can't click on the factory. No worries. Just remember, you can move your screen around if you can't click on something. That helps out. And now we can go double gas. And we can get an engineering bay as well. Another macro cycle. Build 4 SCVs, some mules. Build 2 Marines. And more importantly, let's swap these buildings around. Build a tech lab. And land those there. Now it looks like the Liberator's doing crazy damage, guys. I'm gonna siege that on here, just because I feel like my opponent's a bit nervous. Let's make stim. A few more SCVs, guys. Last ones. Marauders, Marines.
Add-on is up and
Build a
running.
tank, and then build medevacs. And then depots. Depots are more important. We didn't get to start the medevacs because the reactor wasn't done. Now we can queue those up. There we go. Put workers on gas. Put workers on gas. Start +1. And remember, we already started stim. Now we start shields and concussive. Now, we did already, guys, see this drop coming, but I didn't move to respond. So let's look at this. What did I just do, guys? We just did what I call a split defense. If you see a drop coming in, you got plenty of units. A move half units to defend it, and the other half to your other base. I don't know what this drop is doing. Oh, it's a Widow Mine drop. Widow Mine drops don't work versus Terran, because Terran units don't get one shot by them. Okay. Let's build some depots, guys. Build more Marines, more Marauders. Widow Mines are best at killing Marines on the map rather than, or shooting down enemy drops and things rather than anything else. And just keep building units, and we should be good. Chat says, this is why I stumbled into being mid-GM, because the NA ladder are macacas. Oh my god. Calling them monkeys. I mean, you're not wrong, but still. Drop a few more mules, guys. Last bunch of mules there, just to give me a bit more money. A few Marauders, tanks, and medevacs. once we get out 2 more medevacs, 2 or 3 more, we can swap to Vikings. Why? Because it's a TVT, right? Let's send some more scouts out on the map, guys. We're going to use the deselect, 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 pull back and remake the control group.
Research
Unsiege the
complete.
tank, unload the bunker, shift 2. Alright, keep building depots here, more marauders, more marines, more tanks, and we'll swap into those Vikings, like I said. Just waiting for 300 minerals, guys. 150 into the first Viking, and 150 into the second Viking. Beautiful. Get used to just macroing off your hotkeys and looking at your supply and your money. So there's a widow mine on the map, guys. We're going to move forward to this attack angle over here and just push right on up. We could try to siege the low ground. That's another way of doing it that could actually be very effective as well. And you know what? Actually, let's do that. I feel like I've been overcomplicating things in TVT a lot. Everyone's always sieged on the natural. Why don't we just go siege here, lift a bunch of units in the main and do it that way? It's a bit fancier.
We're done with
But if your opponent doesn't have a third base, I think this is a much easier way of getting in. More marauders. I just built like 10 marauders, guys. So we're going to hold down the escape key. Just tap it a few times. Bunch more marines and some Vikings. There we go. Shift 2. All right, guys. So what are we going to do? We're just going to move these guys here. We've only got 2 tanks, really? Wow. Not many. Siege there. And then we're going to put all these guys in there. We're just going to tell them to unload on the high ground, okay? The guys that aren't in the medevacs, we'll just tell them to stand here.
mineral field depleted.
And there we go. Now, there is unlimited room for moves like this, and you would be amazed how much easier it is to win the game when you do them, guys. So notice all I need to do is micro these guys, and if we lure him into tank fire, and then stim an A move, our army is going to wreck. All of his tanks are sieged, the Liberator is there, and we can A move like this. And this is going to work really well up to a very high level. A lot of people say they don't like TVT, but I always say, if you really, really hate the slow positional war, you're a more impatient player, once you get your army going, you can always do it either like what I just did there, or let's say maybe they are a bit more prepared. They're spread out a bit more, you're not sure what's happening. There's another option, which is if you focus on your medevac production a bit more.
Now what?
Let's do it this way.
That. Well, hallelujah.
You can basically just fly around like this. And like your main army comes to the front if you've got a separate army, if it doesn't all fit in. But you can basically just steer around with your medevacs and just scan everywhere and be like, oh, the army's here? Cool. And you just boost in. This is just like a standard move you can do, and it wins so many TVTs. So if you guys really don't like the slow positional TVT, just do that, and then every now and then you look back at your rally. Imagine these Vikings and medevacs. You load up into those. You go, cool. Next round of Doom drop. Let's go. You grab this. You go across. You go, okay, let's go hit behind the natural in the next one. Then you just keep diving in and just hoping you can get sieged in their base. It's a bit of a gamble. People can defend it if they're very good positionally. But even at high levels, you'll see players when they're behind look for this as a desperate win condition. And it can absolutely just straight up win a game. GG's. Alright, everybody. Terran vs. Zerg for the next one. We're up against Flea. That's a good name for a Zerg player. I like it. You guys think they are a big fan of itchy little bugs that make you scratch yourself when you're like a dog or a hairy person? Or are they a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan? You guys let me know. I'm thinking we'll have to see how they play first. See if they try to drop any Californication on us. Or some spicy builds. Some Red Hot Chili Peppers, I guess. That'd be another way of saying it.
What's going on?
Alright, so we're just going to be doing TVZ. TVZ can definitely get out of hand with Ling Bane if they just try to ambush us. The earlier game we played, is this 5 base? Yeah, this is 5 base, that's good. The earlier game we played wasn't too big an issue, and the reason, just put those guys on gas, is because our opponent tried to go Hydras as well. And I feel like they just didn't have as much Ling Bane. And I think trying to get Hydras and enough Ling Bane against the 2 base timing is generally going to be pretty tough. Even though that was bad macro, and I think bad macro was probably one of the more impressive armies that I've played against. I do think if bad macro ambushed me or counterattacked me, they would have given me a much harder time. Remember, that's what we've really struggled with in the previous episodes, is players ambushing me. It's interesting here that in the second part of Gold, closer to Gold 1, I've had much easier matchups. And maybe it's just because I am playing a little bit faster now, but I also think it's the players have not been as proactive with kind of getting in on top of me and ambushing me and that sort of stuff. Alright guys, so Hatch Gas Pool, standard build for my opponent. We want to go SCV and Mule. We then build a depot and go back to mining. And we can Build our first 2
Add-on is up and
Marines.
running.
Build another SCV.
SCV ready.
And get a factory up next.
Will do.
Try and get a second gas now. Notice how I just used the rally point, so I don't have to interrupt the mining at all.
I'm going.
Build a few more Marines. And after that second gas goes down, that's when we build the bunker. Technically at high level in TVP, for instance, this is just a little bit of trivia because you'll see pros do this in TVP. They build the factory, then the bunker, then the second gas, and that means you can get it up before an adept gets there off a Cybercore first build. But that's some pro gamer shit, nothing for us to worry about. Let's just keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. It's the best strategy for StarCraft in terms of our focus. Alright guys, we're going to build a tech lab and get that starport going, but first of all, mules and SCVs. Most important thing always. Then we build the starport, put the Marines in the bunker, everything else on the high ground, keep building SCVs. Notice that main saturated, so let's rally to the natural.
Add-on is up and running.
Let's build another SCV or two. 2 more
Command
Marines.
center has been upgraded.
Oh, it's a macro cycle time, guys. So let's build 1, 2, 3 SCVs, drop a mule. Already got 2 Marines building. So let's build a siege tank and we can start walling off with our SCV here. Gary! Let's go, Gary. Alright. Build a few more Marines. Try to build a Liberator here. We'll rally that straight across the map. Get it ready to fly in. Time for another macro cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Build 2 Marines. And then what do? Gary builds another depot. Same as always, just like clockwork. Let's grab a few Marines, guys. Let's send 1 out to each third base. We wanted to start doing this earlier and earlier. There we go. All right. We can now move that there. Put the tank on the high ground on this map since I think that covers enough. And another macro cycle. Build SCVs, drop mules. So build another depot there. We are a little supply blocked right now, but I think it's okay. Keep building Marines. And you can see these guys should get some vision. This also often will spot any early all-ins coming your way, so it's really nice. Let's build those reactors. And let's grab about 4 SCVs. Notice I just use that shift boxing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right click, all while holding shift down. Build a few more SCVs, a few more mules. Looks like there's a third base with some queens and drones, so it feels kind of like a macro build. Build Marines, build another depot. And we're going to go into the main for some more stuff. Now, I accidentally pulled a guy off gas by the looks of it, guys. I just replaced that. And now that we've built 4, we're going to need Bruce to join in.
Add-on
A
complete.
few more SCVs, a few more mules, a few more Marines. Build the 2 gases in the engineering bay. Now, you might think, is that a full macro cycle? It's not, right? Well, it's not, but that's because our buildings aren't ready, remember, guys? So you don't really need to do a full macro cycle. Not on that one. The next one will be a return to proper full macro cycles. Liberator's just going to fly in, siege up on the base. Alright, we're going to build tech lab, start stim, put those all down, control click the barracks, shift 5, marauder, marine. And then we're going to build tanks and medevacs when we get there, okay? For now, put guys on gas, put 2 on there, put 2 on there. If you
Add-on is up
accidentally
and running.
grab too many, just use deselecting. Our Liberator's doing a ton of damage. It's surprising. I guess people maybe haven't been watching the stream. I'm amazed how many players aren't ready for the Liberator that I'm doing every game into the main base. I think the people in my previous episodes were much better at hard countering me. For anyone who's playing, guys, please hard counter me. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally fine. I'd like to show more worst case possible scenarios in this show, wherever possible. So please, totally fine. All right, guys, let's drop our last mules here, okay? We don't really need any more SCVs, just lots of bio, and of course those depots as well. All right, I don't really have any vision out there, so let's just put some vision there and there. We've got like these guys giving a little bit, but I want to have a bit more vision down in that bottom path, which is probably where we'll push. Does feel like a Zerg Bronze to GM. Alright guys, no SCVs and mules. Just marauders, marines, tanks, and medevacs into depots. Did we ever get the other upgrades? We forgot the other upgrades. We've just started combat shields and concussive, guys. Let's go up +1 armor as well then, since it's going to be a while before all that's finished. Box these units, shift 2. More Marines, more Marauders. Build another tank once we get enough money. And I think it'll be time to move out. You gotta realize Combat Shields is not the longest upgrade to go, guys. It'll be ready in 50 seconds. I think we can move forward. Now, we can either push between the 3rd and the 4th, or we can push towards the natural. I think, looking at this map, this looks like a really nice position here if we can get tanks in that little corner. So I'm going to move here through the middle. That's a lot of Zerglings. All right, lots of Marauders, lots of Marines, tanks. Looks like he's just sending Zerglings to scout. No worries.
Upgrade complete.
So guys, we're going to go here. We're going to send 1 Marine, dump it, and try to move it up that ramp while everything else moves to there. More Marauders, more Marines, more tanks, more medevacs. Build more depots. And we're just going to grab... Oh, that depot was blocking me, guys. Oh, God. So my tanks did not move across the map, guys. So we're just going to move to the middle, but we need to pre-spread these units. I actually have an SCV in there. Whatever. He gets to be one of the boys today. And just box right-click or box A move, guys. Poof. So that's why I always lower 2 depots if you can, guys. I probably should rebuild the bunker, to be fair, though. What if he counterattacks me? This is really bad. So we're going to send 1 up there, 1 down there. And we're going to start moving these tanks forward as well. So let's just try to box A click, 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 box A click. Grab these 2 tanks. I'll try to move those up there.
Mineral field depleted.
Lots of tanks. Let's raise the wall. I saw Lings here, so I think he's coming in for a counterattack, or maybe it's around. Okay. We're going to just stim our army. No micro. Remember, just stim. Everything's pre-spread, so if you micro, you fuck everything up.
Our base is under attack.
Counterattack as well. Looks like these tanks should be able to defend here. If I run the SCVs away, would have been good there. That's okay. Okay, we can try to repair the depots, as well as build those bunkers. Now, if we box, we've got SCVs, so Control Shift, left click. Now Shift 2, now A move to the front, okay? More Marauders, more Marines, more tanks, more medevacs. Looks like he's still trying to counterattack. Let's lower these depots.
Upgrade is ready.
Box
for
these
use.
guys as well, Shift 2. Stim. I just boxed those and stimmed them, so I didn't stim the units at home. Luckily, no banelings, guys. This tank has 37 kills. We're going to try and put that right in the Chad Hammer position. And let's spread the units out. So notice I'm just boxing, A moving, clicking, A moving. Stim these guys. We're going to raise that wall at home so that we're safe against any other run-bys. And my opponent's doing a much better job than some of my previous opponents at just keeping me busy, aren't they? Let's try and put a tank on the left as well. Put a few Marauders up there. Spread these bio units out as much as we possibly can. And we can now just kind of grab a few of these units and run them up there. Let's try and get rid of the creep as well. I think the more we clear the creep, the better for us. More Marines, more Marauders, more tanks. And you want to always pull these guys back to the tanks. If we can lure them into that, that'll be great. Try and kill the creep tumor. Try and kill more creep tumors down here. So we're really clearing the creep to create an avenue for these guys to be dickheads, right? And we just want to try and run away, lure them into the tanks, and then pick up, and then tell them to drop again, okay? Let's go home. More Marines, more Marauders. Let's build a 3rd command center.
Yeah.
We can then go Armory, 2nd Engineering Bay. Box these guys. Shift 2, bring them to the front. Lots more Marines building behind it. Let's go. Raise the wall. Okay. So because he's not really getting baited into fighting, we're going to keep moving our tanks forward. Try to move a few more of these units up here. I'm also going to try and move this tank all the way over there to completely choke off his reinforce. I feel like if we can do that, we can kind of have the game pretty much won. Oh, nice ambush. Lots of Marines, lots of Marauders. Great move by him. Really well done. That really hurts. Let's add this command center to our hotkey, guys. I don't think I really need any scans anymore. We're going to try and raise this wall as well. And then we're going to rally up there with tanks and more units. The SCVs are all going to die here. That's okay. We can try and hide them. Maybe some survive. It's unlikely. Try to mineral walk them into our main. See if we can get them out. See if the bio can defend here. So we're going to stim, try and fight. Letting him into my main could lose me the game though. You have 2-2? He's got 2-2, doesn't he? Shit. We're going to try and reclaim that. On the other side, stuff's happening. I don't know what that stuff is. We could try to just click those guys in there. If they die, it's not the end of the world. They might actually kill some stuff though. Alright, we raise the wall here. We don't want the command center to burn, guys. That's something. So we're gonna make an orbital. We get a chance here. These guys are gonna repair this. We'll make an orbital there. As I said, these guys, it's enough units I wouldn't mind losing them, but he's bleeding units through our spread. We managed to get the GG. Great play from my opponent. Made 2-2. Mass Ling Bane. Good backstabs. Great surround ambushing me. Really well done, man. Really well done. But at the end of the day, we just managed to bleed him out a little bit. So I think the missing trick, if there was one, for Flea here was if Flea was able to defeat one of these big reinforcers and then come with half the army from here and half the army from probably not that ramp, because that ramp's terrible. Maybe here. Maybe half the army there, half the army there. Because then you're coming through a wide open space and a wide open space. Some of your units also will get the benefit of the speedy zones, and you could deal with this. But attacking down that ramp is obviously terrible. Flea correctly identified that and actually played a really good game here. Got way ahead on the upgrades by buying time for 2-2. But you can see that once you get in between a Zerg rallies, it's incredibly high level for them to say, set all these rally points back up in the main, and yet these 3 rally points are down here. And then rallying army on separate sides, control grouping them separately, potentially morphing into banelings at different sides, that stuff really, really hurts. You can also technically move your queens in first to take the first tank shots when you go for the engage. So if you do have a pack of queens, you can run them forward, and then your Ling Bane comes in from the other 2 sides. But those are the angles you need to go for. Was there an opportunity after he cleaned up this army? Because this was a beautiful engagement. Gets all these guys. Looked like a bit of an accident as the banelings kind of moved past it first. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty close. I think if that army came in from behind half of it and then on the high ground with the other half, yeah, maybe it might have killed me. But attacking into a wall is always painful, number 1. Number 2, the banelings weren't there. So remember, you meant to group up outside, clump up, and then go in all at once. As it is, the Lings are having to break the wall without the banelings even being there. So it's kind of coming in a few units at a time. This tank had 20 kills when it went down. And whilst it was pretty much a desperate fight for survival at home, you could see these guys, I didn't even send them in. They were just there. They just happened to get lured in. And then we just grabbed a bit of bio and clicked it into this base as well. And you can see, even though there's workers down on some of these bases, so many units are bleeding out as they run out of all the main bat hatcheries. And Flea needed to set the rally point in the back of the main, give up this natural base, let these 3 bases work as their own entity. Easier said than done, guys. That tank had 50 kills. This tank here had 62 kills. And we can see if they never deal with those positions, it's really brutal. A bunch of overlords in the top left for some reason. GG, good game by Flea. All right, gang, we're playing against Radiant Force, MP73 from chat. How you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. I gave some advice to them the other day. They had a replay where they massively messed up their opening. And they actually identified that really well. But then they're like, man, but how do I beat this army? And it's funny because they were doing my Zerg Bronze to GM, Mass Ling Bane. And the opponent, because they'd screwed up their opening, their opponent got to 4 bases and just made like a lot of Archons and Storm. And they're like, how do I beat this with Ling Bane? And I was like, well, you don't. Like, if they get 4 bases, so they both have a good economy, like a really good economy, and they've got the units that hard counter Ling Bane. Like, you just don't win that. And that's like a hard pill to swallow sometimes, but that's kind of StarCraft. Like, what are we doing with Terran? We're doing a 2-base timing, right, guys? That's what this build is. This is not like, people are often like, hey, so my attack failed, what do I do? And I'm like, well, you can type good game. That's usually what you do. Like, if you do an all-in, it fails like really badly. Like, you just get absolutely walloped. you're probably not coming back from that. And if you want, you can try to go for round 2 of an attack. If you're crazy, you could try to make a 3rd command center and like play a transition. It's a 2nd engineering bay armory. I would not advise that at all, though. I'm like, just type GG, improve your build, try to take a better fight the next time, try to learn from it. You know, there's nothing wrong with just giving up, but I think a lot of players, their never give up, never surrender attitude is more of just a never surrender attitude. They've kind of given up mentally. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't know what to do, but they're kind of unwilling to just tap out. And it's like, tapping out's perfectly fine. You learn a lot from losses. But if you spend 20 minutes like rage continuing to play the game, where you're not thinking straight, you're just like, God, what the frick do I even do? It's really hard at the end of that next 20 minutes of rage playing to actually calmly remember where you went wrong in the early game. Like, you really need to then pour over the replay, and then, like, you know, after 10 minutes of that, you realize you were supply blocked for 3 minutes in the early game or something, and you're like, oh, okay. I guess that's where I went wrong, you know? It's like, yeah, yeah, you did. But it's so easy to forget that if you play like a excruciating 30-minute game where you were so far behind all game. You're playing your heart out and you're like, man, everything I do feels helpless. And it's like, yeah, it's because that context of being way behind from the early game, right? If you do a 2-base all in, it doesn't work. You could just end up way behind, and that's okay. That's what StarCraft is. Sometimes strategies work, sometimes they don't. There is always many things we can do to get better, though. So many things, guys. And that's what makes the game very satisfying. So anyways, very standard build once again, guys. Girls, ladies, gents, zealots, Zergans, and Marines. We can build ourselves a techie labby. A techie labby. I think we should probably go starport before a tech lab, just to make the build line up a little nicer, but as long as you get them both close to each other, it's fine. Build an SCV, and guys, when this orbital finishes, we'll do our first macro cycle. So we need 200 minerals for the first bit of the macro cycle for 1, 2, 3, 4 SCVs. Drop as many mules as we can, rally to the natural. 100 minerals for 2 Marines. Cool. And then we need to build a depot, right? It's a Zerg player, so let's build a wall off. That's Gary. And we can build our first CG tanky as well. Awesome. Alright. Let's queue up 1, 2, 3, 4 SCVs. Got 2 more Marines. I want to build a Liberator. We'll rally that Liberator over here as well to fly into the main. And Gary can build a new depot. Now, we see an Overlord there, guys. This is where, if you're an idiot, you move out with half your Marines there, half here, you kill the Overlord, but also a bunch of Zerglings run in and kill you. Don't get baited. Oh, if he comes in, though, we can kill him. Thank you. No worries. All right, we'll put the tank down here. All right, a few more SCVs, a few more Marines, get another depot. That's our macro cycle. Factory over there. Cool. Get all these Marines over there, ready to defend on the natural as needed. Factory can go there. Alright, guys, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we get reactor and a reactor. Liberator, we can just, once again, siege in that main base. Let's hope this player is a bit more ready for it. Build SCVs and mules, build Marines, build depot, lower one of those depots. Then we go back into the main where Gary and Bruce will both be building depots. Control click on the barracks, shift 5. Set rally point, set rally point. Engineering bay, 2 gases. Beautiful. Control group that engineering bay, if you like to do that, which I absolutely love. Liberator's going to fly in. We see a lair. We see 2 Evo chambers. We're not going to reposition the Liberator, even though it would be smart to do that, of course. Great reaction by my opponent, by the way. And we're going to build a reactor and a tech lab. And that's going to build another tech lab there. And then the barracks are going to float on the reactors. We start stim. Another macro cycle while we wait. Build a few SCVs. Drop a few mules, guys. And we're going to build a few Marines and Marauders. Can't build anything else. Just 2 depots.
Add-on
And we
complete.
can put on gas.
Add-on is up
We can
and
also
running.
start our upgrades. Combat shield's concussive. And that's our SCV count accounted for, guys. So, Marine, Marauder, Marine. Build a tank, and then we'll build some medevacs when that reactor's done. Just a moment away.
Add-on
There we
complete.
go. There we go, 2 depots. Beautiful build order so far. Haven't really sent too many Marine spotters out, guys. You really should be doing that. There we go. Let's get +1 weapons. We're a little slow on starting that. 2 more Marauders, a lot more Marines. And let's make sure our tank count's been pretty light, so let's make sure we queue another tank. And then another medevac after that. We only have enough gas for 1 medevac. It'll take forever to get another one, so just go straight to the next step in the macro cycle, build 2 depots. It's like clockwork, baby. We've got 1 on the watchtower, we've got Marines going elsewhere, so we can just walk in with that Marine. And you can see, wow, that's a lot of drones, guys. So he's already fully droned the 3rd and has a 4th on the way. We're just going to put these Marines around for a bit of map vision. Awesome. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 Marauders. Whole bunch of Marines. We still want to drop a few more mules here, guys. Those are the last mules there at 7 minutes, okay? And let's build another tank here and then another medevac before building more depots. You can see the money is so low. You should be really satisfied if your money's low. When you're doing a 2-base timing like this, there's just so few other things to focus on, guys. There's no excuse for not having that, okay? Let's unsiege the tank, grab these units. Another round of Marines and Marauders came out. It was like a whole army marching down my ramp. More Marines, more Marauders. And we're going to attack here towards the natural and 3rd choke point, I think. Or actually, yeah, we're going to attack here, straight up the middle. We've got to be careful attacking up the middle because we get surrounded easily. But on the other side, if we get far enough forward, we drive a wedge between their bases. And remember, that's how you win. Build depots. Oh, we're losing some map control. What's going on over there, guys? It's just a queen. So we're going to stim, siege the tanks. Spread the units out. Oof. Alright, we're going to move. Are those burrowed banelings? Nope. Siege, siege, siege. Stim. Now, if we can spread a little bit, that's going to be great. These Marines are mighty clumped. As are these guys on the left. Spread, spread, spread. Stim the tank, or siege the tank. More Marauder, Marauder, Marauder. Lots of Marines building. Build a tank. Whew. Oh, our opponent made a big doo-doo, guys. Big doo-doo. We're going to stim forward, get a queen, get a few overlords, and this tank's just going to siege here. Now, what you can do is you could be really aggressive and run forward with that and do fancy pickup micro. That's what we do if we're Clem. We're not Clem. You're not Clem, chat. I've told you many times. You're not Maru, you're not Clem. Come on. More Marines. Build another tank. Box the units. Shift 2. Come to the front now. Does he have drones on that base? Because if he does, that's a real problem. He doesn't, which is good. What about the 4th? No. So it's still 3-base saturation for him versus 2-base for me, which is acceptable. I've just got to take good fights. So let's also dump a Marine. Oh, hello. And let's try and fight this. Oh my god. Stim those guys on the right that didn't stim from the first one. We're moving forwards. Now, obviously, I should have quickly pulled back and stutter step there, but I didn't. And the reason is because I'm a gold player, right, guys? I'm a gold player. Whoops. I just flipped my mouse accidentally. It's not on purpose. Box these guys. Shift 2. Should be raising the depots when they leave. Alright, this tank is on 16 kills. Keep the units spread around. Let's keep sending some Marines out for vision, because it seems like flanking is a big potential part of my opponent's game. I would put that one there. So I just dumped those Marines and I've spread them out to give me kind of early warning of any Ling Bane doing any sneaky. More Marines, guys. More tanks, more medevacs. Looks like you see big army on the left again. Oh, this player's doing a great job of massing. Fuck, my Bronze to GM is bullshit. Alright, I'm gonna siege these tanks here, guys. How does he have so much Ling Bane? You've lost like 3 armies. Can you not, man? Okay, so it's hard to push into that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go armories, 2nd Engineering Bay. We're gonna build another command center behind our wall. We're gonna siege a tank here. We are gonna try and put these Marines out there, as well as a Marine on the watchtower, using the dumping key each time I do that, guys. We're gonna keep making lots of Marines here. And let's try to just march forward with a little drippy droppy, okay? So just notice we're just grabbing 1 drop worth, stim in, and try to get a big mistake from it. Oh, okay, guys. We want to try and pull back with the bio if we can. Stim those guys as well. What else do we want to do? Pull back to the high ground. So you want to reset the rally point to the high ground. It looks like, okay, we just barely had enough to win there. Whew. And that was all off the map vision with the Marine spotters. If we didn't see him sending that army across the map, I probably would have been caught moving out, lost that whole army, and he'd kill my whole base, and I would have to win with this army. Instead, we're able to just chill. We can go, I can start 2-2. Because he's so desperate to take those fights, I kind of sensed that and said, let's play a little bit slower and take just the right fights. Oh shit, my whole army was clumped there. Not the best fight for me. Spread these units out, guys. Don't A move, which clumps them up, which is always a problem. Luckily, I have a lot of Marauders in the mix. Lots of Marines, lots of tanks. My natural lost a lot of mining, but my main is way oversaturated, so we can transfer half of those workers there, guys. We also can take a third base, right? Do I have a third camera location? Looks like I don't. Oh my god, I never set up my camera locations properly, guys. So we can lower that for now. We can basically put the siege tank here and these guys. And we'll put those guys there, and we'll just kind of go, okay. Now, if we want to rally and I select my SCVs, notice that screws that up. So you want to make sure that lands. And if you want to build more SCVs, you can. We're not going to bother. We're just doing this to make our income continue. And notice that these mineral patches are running out. So we can take those, move them there. You can also control-click your idle worker button, move them there. Make an orbital. But more importantly, build Marauders, build lots of Marines, build tanks, drop mules like crazy, because I haven't had to clear creep in a while. And notice we've still got good map vision. As long as I don't see lings coming from that side, I think we can bring this whole army forward, right, guys? I think so. Build tanks. Because I've got about friggin' 14 medevacs, I'll build Liberators instead.
Command center has been upgraded.
Box, A move to the front, shift 2. Let's try and just scan. Still a massive Ling Bane army. And just the fact that he has such a good Ling Bane army and such good production actually makes this very hard for me. Because I killed this base, we're going to rotate to the left, try to push over and isolate that fourth base. So what we're going to do is we're going to unsiege these tanks. We're just going to dump one Marine here. Division, and we're going to move our whole army left, okay? We're going to be ready to start spreading it out already.
We've completely mined out a mineral field.
Once I have 2-2, my army's going to be a lot stronger, guys. And it's about to finish. So now I can start thinking about forcing fights. Is he going to attack? He is. Okay, so we're just going to stim everything. Remember, guys, no A move. Just keep building Marines, Marauders behind this. As long as you keep your units spread out, they'll fight way better than if you let them clump up. That being said, we're going to stim a second time and A move this time because our army is so separated. We also can try to siege up these Liberators as well. Luckily, my opponent didn't attack in with their whole army there, or we would have been in big trouble. I actually think they had fantastic numbers, even though they don't have 2-2, so I actually have the upgrade advantage this game. Lots of more Marauders, Marines, and tanks. We're going to stim, shift 2 to the front. How does my opponent have this much vision? My god, so many units. Crazy. So if we want to just run back to the Liberator Zone, that's where we can take a much better fight, guys. And because there's no Banelings, I'm happy to stand and fight because every single unit is getting healed by a medevac. And we have +2 armor. So if we have 2-2, they have no Banelings, and you have medevacs for every Marine and Marauder, there's nothing they can do. So we're going to grab the Libs, and we're going to siege across this ramp here with both of them between the bases. And that allows my bio to move left, and any Lings that come through have to go through the Lib zones. Marauders, Marines, tank, medevac. And just by having that third base up, guys, that prolongs my position so much. Run away. Oh, God. So my bio's running away. Why am I running away? It's because they're too clumped. I don't have the micro to spread in this scenario. So we're just going to click, click, click. And then we're going to go and just say, okay, just unload, just unload. And then we can kind of spread them out there. I don't want to even unload there. So we're just going to... I'm like, oh, my God, just let me spread my units out, you know? Okay, so we're going to go drop over on the left. We're just going to leave those Libs there for now. We're going to shift A move on that side. And what are we doing, guys? There's a bunch of tanks in my main for some reason. So these guys are going to move over here to try and defend the third. Grab the SCVs, mineral walk them away. And we're going to pull these guys away as well. Because we have tanks to fall back on. If that was a few more Banelings, we'd want to do that, right?
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
Now, looks like those guys did okay. The Libs will spot if he comes to deal with them. For now, they should be fine. So let's go control-click the idle worker button, set there. Looks like my rally points aren't all set for whatever reason. I don't know why that rally point got set up there in my main. Box 2, shift 2. And I think now we can kind of grab everything. We're going to build a lot more Marines, Marauders, tanks behind this. But I think we can grab everything and join up now. So we'll go join with these Liberators. And then we'll push into the natural for the finish. But amazing production from my opponent. They've made it so hard this game. Now, our economy is not great, guys. We lost a lot of SCVs, so we're going to build a few more SCVs, but we actually need a fourth base. And what you do in this scenario is you cancel building SCVs there, you lift your main, tell it to go to your fourth. and you just drop lots of mules on whatever fresh base you do have to allow your income to kind of make up for the fact that it's a bit off. Now, 3-3 is also massive if you can start that. Shift 2. Now, obviously, we want to move forward, but we got to be careful, guys. So, let's grab the tanks, control click, right click, shift siege, right click, shift siege, and we're just going to box A move, box A move, box A move. Try to spread these units out more, guys. Right now, banelings are going to be a big problem. I'm going to actually put a tank over there would be good. That tank there. We're just going to, as always, try to bait our opponent into fighting us. And let's try and siege off, maybe, yeah, I think if we get the libs, we can siege one there, one there. That's going to create like a real no-go zone for our opponent. And even though all your Marines and Marauders aren't fighting at once, I think that's totally fine. We've got a pretty good force at home here, guys. That was the sound of like 8 mules all simultaneously dying. And we can just keep moving these tanks forward until he agrees to fight into me, basically. Like, come on. You know you want to. Grab the bio from the back and move it to the front. You could use the minimap for that if you find the scrolling's a little bit hard for you. We'll attack in there into the natural. Trying to just bait him in. So run in, and then whenever he comes forward, we just basically select our whole army and stim it. Don't A-move it. Only box a few units at a time. Run forward. And just keep stimming and baiting him in over and over again. So we can like attack one of those Zerglings. That baits the whole army in. Beautiful. We can keep moving these guys forward as well. You just want to take your time with these sort of moves. Lots of Marines and Marauders, guys. Lots of tanks, Medevacs, Liberators, whatever. Grab all these guys. Shift 2, A move forward. And look at this. We've got a new fully saturated base. How big is that? Now, if you start lifting bases, notice you miss gas mining. So you do at some point need to go gas, 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 gas. Put workers on these. And then you can also lift your natural and move that out to, say, a 5th base location. Oh, look at that, guys. So we're going to grab this bio, stim it up there to defend. You guys know what to do. Run away. And then back on mining. Deselect, back on minerals. Okay. Now, I know this is a little bit slow. We probably could just push in and win now. But we're still trying to wait for him to make the big mistakes, essentially.
Upgrades for hitting our SCVs.
Alright, I don't think there's many units. Oh, look at that, guys. So if we box here, remember Control Shift. Remove all the unwanted units, and then we can stem and A-move. Are there bases down here? Did he ever mine the minerals out? No. So you have to mine minerals to get to the bottom right of this map, for those who don't know. Alright, GG, well played. Really well played by Radiant Force there. Just an endless wave of Ling Bane. Unfortunately, they didn't get 2-2 upgrades. I do love the hidden base here. I don't think they had anything up there because we killed that one. They did get 2-2 by the end, just quite delayed. But that was great. Like, just endless waves of Ling Bane. You can see bloody how hard that is to push into with a bio tank style. Now, what are ways you can do more damage? Liberator Harass, because they don't have a high queen count. They have no creep spread. Biomine is especially explosive. If you start leaving Widow Mines all over the map, they need to start sending Overseers everywhere. I guarantee you, if I put a few Widow Mines around the map, that would be amazing. That's why Widow Mines are technically one of the best ways to play against Ling Bane, but they could be quite hit or miss depending on how you set them up. They also, what else could you do? Drops. You could also drop, right? Because you could just basically send a double drop to the main. They've only got a few queens. Kill a bunch of stuff, pick up whenever the Ling Bane arrives, and any of that stuff could have found crazy amounts of damage. GG, well played. Alright guys, we're playing against Bad Macro again. Bad Macro this time is going to be playing Protoss. Apparently this is Bad Macro's main race. Should be interesting. This map's pretty small. I don't really know the names of the new maps yet. This one is Site Delta. 3rd base, 4th base, 5th base. We've already got that camera location there. So build the barracks, always leave space for the add-ons as per normal. Get your gas right afterwards. Queue up another SCV and then we can send a scout. So scout across there, hide behind the natural. And this guy can go mine from that. Keep building SCVs here, and you want to always rally to the gas, pull one off, and then we can build one more worker up to 19 supply. We'll go reactor and orbital at exactly the same time. It's going to be beautiful. Now that's a probe. Always bring an SCV to defend the probe, guys. What are you doing, mate? Cheeky little bugger. What are you doing, mate? You hiding something here? Where are you going, mate? It's probably nothing, guys. Build an orbital, build a reactor. Now that that barracks is done. Looks like a reasonably standard setup, except for the lack of a gateway anywhere. Okay, there we go. There is a gateway, a cyber core. There's 2 gases, which is a little unusual, but on its own doesn't tell us too much. No worries. Build a depot here as well. Okay.
Command center
Build an
has been
SCV,
upgraded.
drop a mule. We've already got this worker here. And mine some minerals and then get ready to build the bunker in a little bit. I think that'll
Add-on
line
is
up.
up and running.
We can build 2 marines. And remember, guys, no reaction until we see a lack of an expansion. So even though if this was a pro game, I'd be like, double gas on one base. What's this mother trucker up to? I am not going to be doing any advanced reactions. Build 2 more marines. We're going to go second gas. Still second gas before the bunker. Even though I know this bunker is late, we could get in trouble with this for sure. This is not a perfectly safe opening, but I'd say it's 98% safe, and probably 100% safe at this league, to be fair. You don't really want 100% safety. You want a high degree of safety, but you don't want to be safe against everything, because safe against everything is bad against most things. It means you're playing a bit too safe. We can move forward, see if that Nexus goes down without actually having to move in. Alright, let's go. Now we're going to go straight for the tech lab and then the starport. I'm not keeping up marine production. I'm actually putting a gap in it just to simulate, you know, there's variance in how we play, right? Sometimes we do it. Even though obviously if I know they're one base, probably should be prioritizing marine production over just about everything
Add-on
else.
complete.
All right, guys, 3:30.
Command
There's
center
no
has been
expansion, so
upgraded.
we should definitely come in. Well, there is an expansion, but it's just started, so it's a very late Nexus. Let's take a look inside. Looks like there's a Twilight Council, so this could be Dark Templar, right? We don't know for sure, but it definitely could be. So if you guys are ever worried about Dark Templar, or this is something that hits you a lot, depending on what time it hits you, you can always just make sure you get an engineering bay out. So if we do want to do a reaction, we build an engineering bay now, okay? We don't have to do that, but we're going to do it just for, you know, quote-unquote safety. Is it really necessary? Not really, but we'll do it. Gary and Bruce are going to start building now because we've been a bit distracted trying to figure out what's happening. So we'll start building depots, build a few more SCVs and mules. Let's try to sink into that rhythm of our macro cycle in a moment. Remember, once these units are out, we're going to go reactor, and then start our 4 barracks. And that is Dark Templar, guys. You see that blur coming in right there? That's what you do to start a turret at each base. And you also want to raise the wall there. And as we raise the wall, we're going to try and pull all of our units, unload the bunker as well, guys. You want everything together, and then you want to go scan, and then attack wave. I didn't have a scan initially. Oh, that Dark Templar! Okay, it barely goes down, and he's being very annoying, but luckily we managed to kill it. This is actually the power of scouting. Wow, I didn't actually think it was Dark Templar, funnily enough. But I was like, yeah, I guess I'll show you guys a response. All right, we're going to send a Liberator across to siege up, guys, just on top of the main base. And that was a really good opening for our opponent, because like this is actually something, this build does not blind prepare for Dark Templar. Because our opponent was on one base, we were a little bit suspicious. And you know what? We didn't see a Dark Shrine. I also don't think we saw Blink upgrading. I think that's a bit too advanced for you guys level, but I figure, you know, I should probably mention it. Anyway, reactor. Still haven't built 4 barracks, guys. So let's go barracks, back to mining. Lots of SCVs. If your opening has been messed up or is messy in some way, it's super important you queue up extra SCVs to make sure you can handle that.
Yes, sir.
And definitely walling your base off really defends the Dark Templar, because it means one scan can basically catch all of them if they're all in the natural. Alright, let's go engineering bay, guys. More SCVs. Looks like he did kill a depot there, didn't he? So we should probably replace that, just in case we need that later on.
Add-on is
Let's
up and
control
running.
click the barracks, add them to the hotkey, build a new reactor with the starport, and a new tech lab. Build the
Add-on
factory.
complete.
You get +1 weapons, and keep building those SCVs. Cool. So we could have built the turrets a little bit earlier as well, guys, considering obviously these things were ready on time, the engineering bay. I'm going to lift those over onto those, build Marauders, build Marines. Yeah, getting your wall off up is huge. If you don't get the wall off up, you have to bring all your SCVs from one base to the other base and your army together. Scan there, kill it,
Add-on is
start
up
building a
and
turret there, and then as you get
Add-on
another
complete.
scan, you can try to move up and clear the Dark Templar out. But you want to group all your your SCVs together so you can actually protect them. All right, Marauders, Marines,
Add-on
let's
is up and
go.
running.
A few more SCVs, build, drop a mule. Build some medevacs. All right, guys, we don't really have any vision right now. So we're just going to send a Marine out that side because I saw the Dark Templar come from that direction. Build some more Marines and Marauders. We can leave that down. I don't think that matters. Looks like a Dark Templar's up there. No worries. Now, you can always build a starport in these sort of games. Oh, we haven't Garried and Bruced for a while, have we? Shit. All right, guys. Gary and Bruce are there. We're going to build 2 more depots temporarily. And Gary and Bruce will queue up more as well. Make sure we get concussive. Build a tank. Build more medevac. Build more Marines and Marauders. I think what we're going to do, though, guys, we're just going to stop dropping scans. We'll build our last 2 workers right now. We're just going to save up as many scans as possible, okay? And we know the Dark Shrine is proxied, by the way, and we assume it's either here or here or here. Somewhere in this area. Could be over here. Anywhere in this top right side of the map. Reason is I'm scouting the bottom left. It ain't there, or at least it doesn't appear to be. I guess I can check the rest of the fog with a bit of a queued up A move.
We're done with
Build a
this.
few more Marines, Marauders,
Upgrade
and medevacs,
research
no
complete.
worries. Make +1 armor as well. Lower those depots just to give them a bit more freedom of movement. Build a few more depots. So what we're going to do, now we've got some scans. We can unsiege, grab our army. Am I ready to push? Probably, but let's go clear out the Dark Shrine first and foremost. If you know something's proxied, there's always some free value to be grabbed. You don't want to delay your push too long, but if it's nearby, there we go. There's that Dark Templar that killed my Marine Scout before. All right, so I'm going to just send a bunch of Marines. We're going to shift deselect them, regroup our army, come back. Those guys can go clear it off on their own. Oh, there we go. As expected. So if I see a Dark Templar warp in, if you see like a little blur appear somewhere, otherwise just click on that. And the rest of the army can start moving across the map. More Marines, more Marauders. Bring these guys. Tank and medevac. And we're going to move forward. So he's got this base. So we're going to move forward and we're going to try and siege in towards that third. So that's the staging zone right there in the middle. These Marines, they'll come and join us as well. Shift 2 after they've cleared that up.
This better be good.
The number of times people get proxied in the early game, they know there's a gateway somewhere near their base and they never clean it up. And zealots warp in and ruin their day. And you're like, oh man, you knew that was there, bro. All right, we don't see any defense, and it looks like they've got gases on the third, which means they must have a lot of probes. And until I see an actual sign of a big army, guys, I think we can just run in, siege the tanks. We can try to stop those tanks, those probes from getting away. There we go. Oh, whoa, whoa, he's attacking in. Okay, pull away from the Colossus, guys. Keep scanning to use the vision. There's no zealots in there, so you've just got to use the siege tanks. Remember how we fight Colossus, same as last week. We can build Vikings as well. Oh, stim, siege. Oh, don't chase, don't chase. Okay. You got a friggin' observer here? How do you know I was moving forward? Unsiege. Move those tanks forward, guys. Alright, control click the Marauders, put them in front. Control click the Marines, put them a little bit behind. More Marauders, more Marines, more tanks. And guess what, guys? We've been building medevacs. Time to swap to Vikings because they counter Colossus. Box, shift 2. Thank you so much for the subs there, MP. Dude, appreciate it. Stim and try to move in. Oh, wait, his army is there. Okay, I thought his army was on the right. Okay, it is. It's on both sides. So we pull back a little bit. Just going to stim. And remember, control click the tanks and click the Colossus if you can. We got the Colossus. Can we defend our siege tanks? Ah, the siege tank friendly fire got us. Okay. Looks like siege the tanks. Stim. And we should be able to win now. More Marines, more Marauders, more tanks. Grab these guys. Shift 2, A move. Good play by Bad Macro there. Got a pretty decent army. The DT opening could have done great because there's no way to scout that. Even if you scout the whole main, to find a Dark Shrine up there is very tricky.
field
But
depleted.
we saw a very late expansion, and that did tickle me a bit. So remember, this is kind of an edge case. This is actually hilarious, because look at what bad macro. Remember I said, if people don't expand at by 330, you got to scout for it, you got to do all these things, right? So basically, are there buildings on their base? Well, in this case, there was, but if there's no natural at 330, scan the main to see what they're doing, and one base player has a lot of options. Now notice that's not a very big response, but it just basically says, hey, scan the main to see what they're doing. One base player has a lot of options. We should also add check for proxies, right? Obviously, you're not always going to do that at a super low level in bronze or silver, but you should also check for proxies. I didn't do that,
Command center
and that
has been upgraded.
doesn't really make sense. Why not? Because I saw a lot of buildings, so I wasn't thinking about proxies because I saw a lot here, but I knew proxy dark shrine still could have happened. If I sent a marine out down each side of the map, there's a good chance I get early warning of what's happening, and we could have responded much better. This was actually a very crisp dark shrine timing, so hats off to Bad Macro for really hitting a pretty tight build order here, especially for kind of gold league or platinum level play. And yeah, basically the engineering bay finished a few seconds before those Dark Templar came in, but not by very long. And I didn't have a single scan available. Now, if I just had a scan available, guys, I just A-move these units down, I drop a scan right now, and we clean this up really easily. But because I'm a few energy short, we are in trouble. Luckily, I managed to block the Dark Templar, raise the depots. We unload the Marines. Notice I pull the SCVs, I pull the Marines, I unload the Marines, we get them all together, and then we try to get in between the Dark Templar, and then drop a scan on all of them, and I A-move as well. Even the SCVs are fighting, and you can see we kill all 3 Dark Templar, even though we lose a depot. If that Dark Templar's in your main, it's so much more frustrating, because then we have to try and get this turret up, and we're losing SCVs the whole time. It can be devastating. As it is, we only lost 6 SCVs, we rebuild the turret, we kind of go, okay, we get back on top of our macro. But you can definitely see, if that happened to walk in then, I hadn't scouted for proxies or I happened to miss it, I didn't have any energy, say I only had 20 energy on each command center, and the turrets hadn't started yet, we might just die. And that's totally okay. It's a very gambly build, a one-base proxy Dark Shrine into such a delayed expansion. It's a big commitment from your opponent, and that's 100% how it's going to go. That's, you know, you will lose some games, but keep in mind, if you've got your wits about you, or if you happen to be a bit lucky with your scan timing, or if your wall-off's up a bit quicker, if you happen to scout the proxy by sending Marines out, there's so many things where you scout it, you shut their build down, and their whole build sucks, and they're screwed. So there is a gamble for them. We don't need to be 100% safe versus this. If we're 80% safe versus this, we win 4 out of 5 times. The players who do this lose 4 out of 5 times. It's not worth them doing it on average. And that's kind of what you got to play in StarCraft sometimes, is like, there will be some huge gambles that I die to. It is what it is. As long as I'm not losing to that gamble more than 50% of the time, I'm okay with it. When do you plan on doing Platinum and Diamond? Well, this is Gold Part 2. We're only doing 2 parts to Gold, which means Platinum is right after Gold. So next week, same day, same time. Thank you so much, MP and Decent. Honestly, Decent for the goddamn support there, guys. Now, I gotta say, with how late this expansion was, to have that fully saturated now and be taking a third, I'm actually really impressed with what Bad Macro did here, guys. Bad Macro also didn't make Blink, which is awesome. Blink is for tryhard virgins. I would argue, because they were a bit behind, maybe just doing like mass charge would have been simpler, because trying to take a third and gases is a little complicated here and definitely makes things difficult. Because you're like going charge and immortals. You definitely shouldn't be making adepts right now. Should just be marines. I don't know what the adepts were about. I should just be zealots, sorry. And then going double forge as well is way too much. Remember what we were talking about before? What's the perfect counter to this build I'm showing? Well, you don't want to go Twilight and Robo Bay and double forge and 3 bases and 6 gases, right? Because you're basically saying, I'm going to go 20 workers ahead. I'm going to go to 66 workers versus 45. 21 worker advantage. I'm going to go double upgrades versus single upgrade. And I'm going to go up in the tech tree to Colossus as well. So you want to simplify your build and go for less things here. Especially if you know your opponent's 2-base all-inning, which maybe Bad Macro is trying to play more the way they normally would afterwards. But if Bad Macro just did double forge, no gases other than the main base one, just got 3 mineral lines up and played double forge, 10-gate charge lot, that could absolutely beat me. If they went Colossus But they didn't take the gases on the third, and they just go Colossus charge with no forges, 8 gates charge plus Colossus. It's gonna fuck me up. So there's a lot of things, but if you're going Colossus and Sentries and Stalkers and Zealots and Adepts and Observers and gases on the third, you can see how the complexity of everything you're doing, whilst being totally standard if you're up against a 3-base Terran, is going to be way too much to then stop a 2-base all-in, because these are giving you no value. The third base has no time to pay for itself. All these probes are not worth it. So you're going too far ahead in probes, too far ahead in upgrades, too far ahead in tech, and you're already behind because your Dark Templar didn't do much damage, and it was a big investment in the opening. So if you're even, going for all this would get you killed, but you're behind. You are starting from behind in this game, so you need to be even safer, where you could be stopping at 50 probes and just go double forge Zealot. Barely even an economy advantage, very low tech. The upgrades are your only real advantage, and you need to get a really good angle with your Zealots, and then maybe you can win. So that's one of the things where you guys want to think about StarCraft in terms of it's a set of scales, and you want to have a good sense for what you can do with the build when you're even, and then you want to adapt that when you're ahead or behind. This is very advanced stuff that a lot of even high-level players don't do as well as they should do, but it really makes the difference in terms of your understanding of like, wait a second, am I ahead or behind in the game? I'm a little behind. Okay, I know my opponent's doing a 2-base all-in, so I'm going to stay on 2-base. I'm going to mass Zealots off 2-base and just try to overwhelm them. Obviously, it's not a good play to scale into the late game, but I think he's 2-base all-inning. If I could just shut that down, I know I can do this. And then that's like a way to really counter your opponent's strategy, right? GG's.